welcome to Columbia Heights High School, the season opener tonight for the Breck Mustangs as they pay a visit here to the Highlanders from Columbia Heights. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Bill Hunstock, and Bill Breck coming off kind of a tough year last year, no doubt about it. 2 wins.
Yep.
They played a lot of young guys, though. They've got a lot more experience this year. The guys, a year older, a year stronger. They're hoping that's kind of the magic formula to have a little bit better season.
Yeah, exactly. All of their juniors and seniors this year played a lot as sophomores and juniors last year, and they took their lumps. There's no doubt about it. With a sophomore quarterback, without a very experienced offensive line, they really took their lumps. This year, they're all a little bit older. Everybody feels a little bit more confident. The coaching staff feels good about the kids, and they really need to look at what their attitude is going to be. And the coaching staff has been really concerned the last week or so about preparing them for thinking like winners and thinking and having confidence in what they're doing and trusting their teammates. And if they can get through that process quickly, then they'll have a better season.
For Columbia Heights, they had a 500 record last year, 4-4 in the regular season, and 1-1 in playoff time. Included in that 4 wins was a victory, 20-0 over Breck, although David Roddy, the standout quarterback for Breck, was injured and did not play in that one. So they've had some good matchups between these two lately.
Yeah, these two teams, I think, are fairly evenly matched, especially tonight. Both teams have similar type numbers. They have similar type numbers of players returning in key roles from last year. So I think we'll see some competitiveness tonight. Any advantage might go to the Highlanders simply because their offensive and defensive lines are slightly bigger, but there's some pretty good athletes on the Breck side.
A little bit of a windy night tonight as well, which, kicking game and passing game may be affected by it. It's strong enough, I think. I asked Coach Martin, though, from Breck, will this affect David Roddy? He's a big, strong kid. He said, nah, he can throw it through it.
Yeah, at 6'5", 245 pounds, he's got a big player's body, and I was watching him in warm-up. He didn't seem to have any trouble with the wind. Kicking game, however, is a different story. If the wind is swirling or if it's blowing across the field, it's going to drive the ball one way or the other, and that can be a factor, particularly in field position in a close game.
All right, should be a good one here. The first week of the season, a Friday night opener for these teams after many teams started things out on Thursday. It is the Breck Mustangs and the Columbia Heights Highlanders coming up next year on CCX Sports.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
And welcome back here to Columbia Heights and Dick Borchard Field for the season opener between the Mustangs and the Highlanders. As we said, maybe a little cooler than you might expect for that very first game. It seems a lot of years you're worried about excess heat on the first night, but we don't have that consideration here tonight. Joining us once again from the sideline tonight will be Allie Arlt. Let's go down to Allie.
Hey, Jay, you know when we come to these smaller schools, you can expect to see a smaller size on these rosters in terms of number. And for Breck, this is no exception. Of the 36 guys on the roster, 14 of them are freshmen, and Coach Martin says they are not ready for varsity play. So this leaves just 22 guys left to compete tonight, and Coach Martin says the best thing they have going for them is that this upper class team is battle tested. He said they've had to play a lot of these young guys earlier in seasons past, so they have the experience, and they're expecting that experience and David Roddy to carry them through the early parts of this season.
Thanks very much, Allie, and she'll be checking in with the coaches at halftime tonight, as well as guys I think had going way back, played a little bit around the same high school time. John Martin at Brooklyn Center, and Matt Townsend was a quarterback here at Columbia Heights before taking over as their coach. He went on to play
David Roddy,
quarterback in college in Wisconsin as well, and certainly has come back and have a veteran staff that's been around for a long time here at Columbia Heights, and boy, continuity matters a lot.
Absolutely, yeah, consistency and continuity, particularly not just during the season but throughout the entire school year, is a really important thing. And Coach Townsend's been with the program for 21 years, so that makes a big difference.
He talked about numbers, stabilizing here. They don't have what they had, back 20 years ago, and like a lot of schools, and obviously this school is a little bit smaller than it was at one time as well. But they, kept a fairly stable base and kept some interest, and have done fairly well at times. And it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of changes. Your school gets smaller, the population changes, and we've seen that at all kinds of the inner ring suburbs. That, they have to deal with change.
Exactly. Your student population changes. You have different interests in different activities and things like that. And yet here at Columbia Heights, they've been able to stay with their traditional athletic programs pretty well.
Number 20, Wood Triplet.
Look there at a 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago, Antonio Triplett for Columbia Heights. He's a guy that Breck will have to be ready for, and a tough guy to tackle. He's got pretty decent size at 5'11", 195, and so you're going to have to be ready for him. I think Breck offensively, I think if they can protect Roddy, they feel pretty decent. Defensively, they're going to have to show that they can stand up against a pretty good offense.
Right, and again, a double wing offense. It looks like a single back, but it's really 3-back, 4-back offense. I think the key for Columbia Heights offensively is making sure that they get the ball to their key running back Triplet, but also that their young quarterback. They've got a sophomore quarterback, a little bit untested. And that's going to be interesting to see how he handles being on the firing line right out of the gate here.
Dylan Lentz will kick off here for the Highlanders, waiting back deep for Breck. Ethan Gill, number 17, and number 24, Elijah Zachary.
Let's kick it off.
The Highlanders kicking with the wind at their back, so it wouldn't surprise me that much if this kick goes a ways, and he puts it a hard liner, fielded by Gill there on about the 14, and some good room out to the right. Not a bad return at all here for the Mustangs. They will start on their 34-yard line on the first possession as David Roddy leads them out. Unfortunately for Breck, Josh Roddy, David's older brother, not going to be in the lineup tonight with an injury, so they do lose one potential weapon there.
And Josh, not as big as his brother, but still a good-sized lad at 6'3", 205 pounds.
So Roddy leads the Mustangs up to the line of scrimmage here. An offensive line, maybe lacking in size a little bit, but at least a lot of them have played a fair amount of varsity football. As Zachary comes in motion, Roddy looked that way. Now he's going to tuck it himself and go. And spun down there by Ketch Ogle for Columbia Heights. but not a bad gainer on first down. He'll get about 4 on that first down carry.
Not a bad first down play. Looked like it was going to be a quick bubble screen out to the left here, but Roddy tucked it and got a fairly decent running seam to get into.
See the starters flashing by on the screen here. Second down and about 6 here for the Mustangs. Roddy will toss it back. Zachary, a flag down on the play here. They get a first down, but I don't believe it's going to count. Flag. There's a look at Chad College, tonight's referee, and a great guy, great softball fan too. And it is indeed holding against Breck out there on the edges. They went with the quick toss out here to Zachary, and I think we see it. Yep, there's right on the edge receiver. Carry-on Marshall had a pretty good grab of the jersey there.
The hold notwithstanding, they did a very nice. Breck did a very nice job of setting the flank and getting their running back into position so that Zachary had a little bit of a lane to run into, and he proved to be on that play fairly challenging to bring down. But the 10-yard penalty is going to put him back into a second and about 13-14.
So back to the 30-yard line now on this second and long coming for the Mustangs, and we're going to have another flag.
Yep.
Procedure penalty here against Breck. And saw this on opening night. I know you guys had a little bit of the Osseo Millfield Grove game. I was at the Park Center Cooper game, and there were definitely some first game jitters or first game mistakes, and I don't think it's terribly uncommon. And to be honest, at this juncture, they don't really have that much time to practice before this first game.
Exactly. Yeah. And in practice, you don't whistle a play dead because somebody's wiggling along the line of scrimmage. You point it out to the player, but you don't whistle the play dead.
Roddy fakes the handoff and then throws low over the middle, and actually probably a good thing it was low. The closest guy really to it there was Dorian Poindexter for the Highlanders, and the throw too low for him to get to. It was closer to him than Elijah Zachary, the intended receiver, though. So Mustangs forced into a third and long. Heights coach Townsend said, we want to get after Roddy some. We'll probably try and put pressure on him, from the middle, but also along those edges. And this would be a prime spot to try and get something done in that regard.
Right, and I think that the Heights team needs to, they need to get the ball out of his hands one way or the other.
Good protection. Roddy throwing a long throw out to the outside, incomplete. Would have been way short of the first down anyways. They looked for Ethan Gill. And pretty good defense there by Columbia Heights. And Breck right there, you're just hoping to get a completion and make it a little bit more up the field for your punter to work with in that spot.
Exactly. And this is the kind of situation where, a hold stifled this possession as they had a first down on that second down. Now they're punting the ball from deeper in their own zone, and Heights is going to get the ball in fairly good field position.
Roddy is the punter as well. A high kick into the wind, fair catch called for and made there by Ben Rogatsky for Columbia Heights. And I think it might kind of shock returnmen a little bit how this ball's going to be. You got to stay with it on a night like tonight.
Yeah, even if the wind isn't really strong, it still makes that thing waver, and it's hard to catch a wavering ball that's pointed at both ends.
There's a look at Aaron Severson. So they have a pretty good amount of experience around him, but Severson put into the spotlight as a young sophomore here tonight, making the start here for Columbia Heights. 1st and 10 on their 37. Hands it off on first down, and that is Triplett picking up about 4 as he is stopped on the play for the Mustangs by Lyndon Olness. So Triplett, who was up around 1,200 yards last season, a guy that we expect to see handle the football a fair amount tonight if things are going the way Heights wants it.
Yeah, I would think that he's going to be a key part of their offense.
Second, and they'll call it 7 here. Go right back to him, wrapped up by Roddy, and they try and rip the ball free. He will pick up a couple more, but pretty well defended by Breck.
Yeah, but there were 4 or 5 players in there, a couple of other guys besides David Roddy. And that's what when you're a little bit undersized. Although the defensive line, guys playing on the defensive line are not particularly small. We've got one guy that, one player at 6'3", 240 pounds, as well as Roddy at 6'5", 245.
Let's go! 3rd down and 4 coming up here. First possession of the game for Columbia Heights after Breck had to punt on their opening possession. See if they'll go to the air for the first time. And Severson rolling to the left, throwing on the run, juggled but caught, and that'll be good for a first down as Deandra Roberson makes the grab there.
Pretty nice grab by Roberson there. He bobbled it once, but he was open enough that he could afford to do that.
Pickup of about 19 there. And so Heights into Breck territory now at the 36, 1st down and 10. Good confidence builder for the young quarterback too as he throws a strike there. Toss out to Triplett. Flag is down and he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Flag came from the backfield from the referee. And Breck, let's a look at Matt Townsend. We had a nice visit with him prior to the game. And 18 years head coach, 21 in the program, and even more than that when you count his time as a player, obviously, as we said.
Absolutely.
So.
And he grew up in this neighborhood, obviously. And
I think it always means a little more. I mean, obviously, you put your heart and soul into anywhere that you take a coaching job, but
exactly,
you have a feel for it when it's the place that you played growing up too.
Right. You have a certain pride in what you've been part of for the majority of your life.
So a 1st and 20 coming up now for Columbia Heights after the penalty call is accepted. If the down and distance were a little different, Breck might have thought of not taking that penalty because they had made such a nice stop. But obviously you got to take that early on in this down sequence here. Roberson faking now, rolls left, floats the little pass out, and it is complete. And down the sideline with it is Quinton Hardrick. Didn't look like there was enough room to get quite that far, but they ended up making a nice gainer out of it.
And Hardrick, the motion man, gets open enough, makes a nice one-handed grab, and there was nobody near him. The secondary was way off. He was the motion man, came kind of unseen underneath, and the wide receiver pretty well cleared that zone out, and it was a nice play, well executed.
So they get about 13 yards out of it. Not bad at all when you've got 1st and real long like that. Roberson this time rolling to the right. Firing, and the pass is complete. Tossed out of bounds there by Carryon Marshall, but it wasn't too bad a coverage, but Hardrick able to hang on as they throw right on the money.
Right on the money, and well played defensively. It was just a nice throw and catch.
Now we got a flag on the play.
We're going to have a roughing against Breck here. It's going to add on a personal foul at 15 yards.
They say roughing the passer. Looking at the play, not the pass.
So Severson now 3 out of 3 as a passer. And then they get the penalty tacked on as well. So 1st down and 10 from the 13 as Heights trying to put a little march together here. They've got one going, and now they hand off to Triplett. Triplett, a nice move, bounces off the tackler, and he's in for the touchdown. Columbia Heights striking first. Nice mixture, throwing some rollout passes, and then they go right back to their bread and butter running back triplet. And he did a nice job. A nice hole open initially, no doubt, but then a great move there, and then he smashes through the last tackle attempt.
And at 195 pounds, he's got enough body weight that the inertia works for him when he gets into a collision.
Severson is the extra point kicker as well here for Columbia Heights, and his kick is up, and it is good. And with 8:17 to go in the first quarter, it becomes 7-0 Columbia Heights as you get another look. Well blocked, little trap play there, and Zachary didn't wrap up.
No, that's one thing the coaches will tell him. The secondary coach for Breck is in his college and career with us at the Minnesota Mauler, Sterling Adams. He was definitely a big time hitter, and he'll be telling Zachary about wrapping up on that kind of a hit. Made good contact, but you got to wrap up.
Trainer giving a little attention to triplet there as working on the hand or finger there, but a nice drive for Columbia Heights. You add in a relatively costly penalty against the Mustangs there as well, and pretty soon Columbia Heights into the end zone.
Exactly, yeah, you really can't at any point in the season, but particularly early in the season, you just don't like to give away yardage like that. And Breck has done it twice with the two big penalties on the hold on their own possession and the roughing.
Lentz had the ball fall off the tee here, but now able to get it squared away. And Lentz, short kick. It might go out of bounds, and it will. So Breck will get good field position here.
Come on, Manny. Come on, Brian.
You know, they'll get position in a fairly good field position.
Come on now, get going now. Let's see it.
So look at John Martin in the middle there in the gold Breck cap. And the fourth season with the Mustangs and the 11-18 record. I was an assistant there before that as well. And he said played his football just across the river there in Brooklyn Center.
Mm-hmm.
So at the 35-yard line, 1st down and 10 here for Breck. Didn't get much going on their first possession. Roddy had a 4-yard run early on, but after that, mixture of penalties and good defense kind of kept them from advancing any further there. Roddy handing it off to Zachary, and not much room. He is met early on there for the Highlanders by Poindexter.
A gain of about 2, so pretty good defense by Highlanders on that play.
So 2nd down and 8 now for Roddy and the Mustangs offense. Gets time initially, now throws over the middle, and it is dropped. Olmus, the senior, had it in his hands and just couldn't squeeze it. I think he was looking ahead where, who was coming and where.
Exactly. That's a nice ball, well-placed ball, and just a momentary lack of concentration on that.
3 guys were waiting for him, so it's a little understandable when you see that replay that he was about to take a hit, but that's kind of part of being a receiver too. So
exactly.
third down and long now for Breck. Roddy looking, and now in trouble, throws it while he was being brought down, and the pass is complete, and it'll be a 1st down. As Gill makes the catch. Boy, I was just about to say they've got Roddy wrapped up enough to sack him, and instead a completion for 13 yards, and that's where being 245 really helps you.
That's where you're having big, strong legs and good upper body strength. He changed the ball from his left hand to his right hand as he was being brought down and threw the ball.
didn't throw a strike, but he threw it right to the receiver. The receiver made a nice move after catching it to get upfield.
I think a pretty good job by the officials of not jumping the gun and calling that a sack. He was not, stopped yet. He was close, but toss back here. They go right side, flags flying everywhere as Gavin Hopping had the carry, and his helmet comes flying off as well. See if both of these flags were for the same thing or not. They came from far different spots on the field.
Yeah, I think the first one that came in was probably a hold.
Dylan, you got to talk, though. Manny, back him up.
Is there a possibility we have, I think, 2 different penalties here as officials getting together? And
they might have a hold.
Illegal block in the back against Breck. And that, at this point, appears to be the only signal that we're seeing. So that is going to be the call that both saw.
Flags came in from totally different areas of the field, so it's. But again, now you've got a 1st and 20. You had good field position. You had a little bit of momentum, and you cannot keep killing yourself with penalties.
Well, 1st and 16 now. It was a spot foul, so it did come a little ways downfield. Roddy stepping around the pressure here, still looking, firing, and the pass is complete. Not a lot of room, but he's able to find Gill. Still not enough for a first down, certainly, but they get back into Columbia Heights territory here, a pickup of about 8.
Yeah, so they're in manageable. 3rd and 8 is going to be much more manageable than 3rd and ultra long. And Gill's made a couple of nice catches here on this drive.
So from the 48 now, the 2nd and long. Roddy faking the pitch. Rush is coming, ran into his own man, and now tucks it away. And Roddy up the sideline. Let's see where they'll mark him out. Going to be at about the 43. So, yeah, he didn't quite get as far as it looked like he might for a moment there. But that's even for a good aggressive defensive player, that's a pretty big guy to try and bring down coming at you there.
Yeah, once he gets a little momentum, he's a little bit tougher. And he's a big, strong kid. And you can see that he breaks tackles. He gets driven out of bounds, but still doesn't get taken down.
3rd down and 4 here for Breck as we approach the midpoint of this first quarter. 7-0 Columbia Heights our score. Season opener for Breck in white and Columbia Heights in the blue and gold. Roddy looking, throws over the middle, and it is complete as he is able to find Hopping. A lot of times you think, throwing kind of late over the middle that there might be too much traffic, but he was able to find him, and a nice gainer there of about a dozen. Took a pretty good hit, but Hopping's got decent size, and he was battling a little bit of a leg thing at practice the other day when I was there. They were working that calf with the roller, but nice completion there, and he comes out for a little breather.
I've had 2 or 3 guys that have caught the ball now for Breck.
They'll go to the ground this time. Derek Turner, and he is wrapped up and thrown down. Nice job to get there early for the Highlanders by Chase Light, number 2, and able to make a sure tackle on Turner.
And virtually no gain on that one, maybe even a slight loss.
So 2nd and long for Breck. Light read that play well. He had to reach out for him. I mean, it wasn't like a perfect form tackle or anything, but he got his hands on him and wrapped him up enough to bring Turner down. We're going to have a timeout taken by Columbia Heights here. Something they didn't like the way things were lining up there, and made that quick timeout call. So both teams will gather and regroup and talk about it a little bit here with 5:04 to go here in this first quarter from Columbia Heights High School, Dick Borchert Field. And nice facility here. We were talking before the game. They got the kind of the permanent concrete grandstand, which you don't see a whole lot of, and and a nice field. They've got good football tradition here over the years, and we said obviously ebbs and flows. Breck's the same. Breck had a real good run of football in the, I guess, mid-90s to mid-2000s, and things have changed a bit for them since, but still a lot of good entertaining football from both of these schools over the years.
Yeah, both schools have had some outstanding players that have gone through their programs, and
I always think of John Alt when I come to Columbia Heights. That's the first name that comes to mind. Played in the offensive line in the Kansas City Chiefs, and
had a really good NFL career too after playing at Iowa State.
So 2nd and 11 now for Breck, as Turner, as Bill said, a very short loss on that play. Little floating pass out to Turner in the flat, makes the first guy miss, and then is wrapped up and held onto as the Highlanders try and strip the ball free. Nice little wiggle there to get away from the first man, and that gave him a decent gainer out of it.
Exactly, and it's just a little check down pass. Does a really good job there and makes a few yards after the catch, so it gives him a really good workable 3rd and about 7. But they're in 4-down territory now, so they've got 2 opportunities now to make the play.
Roddy looking, pumps, and now takes off. And Roddy will blast his way forward and get the first down inside the 20-yard line. He kind of had a glance over toward that down marker. I think he knew where he needed to get, and he was not going to go down easy here at the end as he bowls through a tackler there.
Yeah, one tackler found out that wrapping up is going to be very important with the guy the size of Roddy. You might get shook around pretty good, but if you hold on, you're going to be all right.
And strength in numbers is what the D has to remember against a guy like that, too.
Absolutely.
So football resting just inside the 20-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Breck here as they try and battle back and maybe tie it up. Roddy throwing over the middle, and it is complete as he finds Gill again, and he is spun down. Looks like just shy of the 1st down, but he's going to get all of 9 yards there, it looks like.
Every bit. Yeah, he's got a nice grab, turnaround. Gets just not quite to the 10-yard line.
Kenny Moore wrapping him up there for the Highlanders. So he's 2nd down and a yard here for Breck. It got to be a little bit of a confidence builder to have this kind of drive. And a drive with some variety to it, too. They've done a few things well along the way, including, making 3rd down conversions when they needed to as well.
Exactly. That's going to be an encroachment against the Highlanders. That'll cost them 5 yards, put the ball 1st and goal at about the 5 or 6 yard line.
So both teams a little bit penalty plagued here tonight, more so Breck, but that one, costly one for Columbia Heights, so it will be down to the 6. And 1st and goal, as Bill said here, as we're under 3 minutes to play now in this 1st quarter, and Breck trailing 7-0, but a nice drive they've put together here. Fakes the handoff. Roddy rolling left. He's going to try and get there himself. And he is stopped short of the goal line. He'll be down to about the 2-yard line. A couple guys getting a body on him here as he stiff-armed the first tackler. Kind of ran over Joel Chroma a little bit, but then the help arrived and they were able to drag him down a little shy of the goal line there. Roddy's 4th rush of the game so far for 21 yards unofficially. 2nd down goal to go now here for the Mustangs.
And he uses his big body well when he's running. He protects his legs, he gets his shoulders out over his toes and makes people, hit him where he's large. And he's got big thighs and big torso, so he's tough to bring down.
Roddy looking over the middle, and the pass is, I haven't seen a signal. Looks like it's complete for the touchdown. And Breck will get on the scoreboard.
They still haven't signaled whether it's a touchdown or not.
Yeah, I didn't think I saw a signal either. Yeah, it looks like he's certainly got the ball.
Got
Yeah,
the ball,
so Olness will make the catch for the touchdown. And so Breck an extra point away from perhaps tying it up here.
One of the big emotional things for any football team, though, is when you give up a touchdown, is to answer. And this is a big thing for Breck, particularly last year, losing 20-0, to be able to put this thing right back in the.
Nice snap, and Gill is immediately driven down. So really no chance to get that one away as Alex Tachinko was on. There's a look, and Gill just had to fight it off.
Yeah, he was wrapped up right away. So we get a good look at the touchdown pass here, right from the end zone, coming right at you.
Yeah, and pretty clear catch, but I'm looking around and I didn't really see anybody lift their arms there, so you kind of want to wait and make sure. But
in the kind of catch that Olness made, sometimes that gets dropped on the floor and is an incomplete. But obviously a nice grab and a very nice drive for Breck. They overcame a couple of penalties on that drive, got a couple of key 3rd and long situations that they handled well, and were able to get the ball down in the end zone.
Well, you remember too earlier that Olness dropped a very catchable ball over the middle, so it's a good feeling for him to bounce back, to get another chance and hang on to that one. And he's one of your older guys, your more experienced guys. So Alex Tachinko will kick it off here for Breck. We did not get a chance to see him attempt to boot the ball through the uprights because that snap was well off target there. So
the medics got lost. Yep, that was a bad day too.
Short kick and almost overrun there. But picking it up is Amir Davis, and then he is cut down. It looked like for a moment he might get some upfield progress there. John Steinberg's though able to stay with him and make the tackle. It wasn't smooth initially, but Amir Davis able to eventually find that ball. I think more and more teams are seeing, Bill, really trying to kick the ball between levels of the returners and see if you can drop it in a nice spot and if not get the ball yourself, at least be in a position to make it a tough return.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to do is to catch the ball high on the fly and catch it with plenty of space. If you have to pick it up off the ground and people are closing in on you, that's a much tougher pressure situation.
From the 31, they hand it off. And about a 4 to 5 yard gain for Joel Chroma. Is Joel Chroma the rusher there for the Highlanders.
Chroma does a nice job. He hits the seam. It was pretty well defended by the Mustangs.
So 2nd down and 6 as we go under a minute to play in this first quarter. Columbia Heights still leading, but now 7-6 after Breck marched for the touchdown but missed the extra point. And a timeout requested by Breck. So similar to Columbia Heights, they didn't have exactly the personnel they wanted, or looks like Isaac Luton had to check out and may have lost his lunch a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So. So it'll be 2nd down and 6 now for Heights as we are back and ready to go. Not an actual timeout there, more of, I guess you call it, an injury more or less.
Yep.
Triplett running it, and he is wrapped up and driven back as Jack Schauer 76 in there along with Alex McKenna to drive him down.
Again, that was pretty good defense, pretty good pursuit by Breck, Schauer and McKenna getting in and making the play.
Might have been the last play of the first quarter, I suspect, here as we go under 10 seconds, and really no reason for Columbia Heights to try and rush it up there. So we will put 1 quarter in the books here in Columbia Heights, and our score after 1 is Columbia Heights 7, Breck 6. The second quarter is up next here on CCX Sports.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
And welcome back here to Columbia Heights, Dick Orchard Field, as the Highlanders leading Breck by a score of 7-6. I'm Jay Wilcox, along with Bill Hunstock and Ali Alt, as we get kind of the rare treat, Bill, in this first week. Some Thursday night games, which you got to see Osseo and Maple Grove last night, along with John Jacobson, and then tonight the second one. Most weeks, obviously, teams are playing on the same night, so we only get to see one game, but here we go with Columbia Heights facing a third down and a long 5 here to begin our second quarter. Severson, the sophomore quarterback, had a pretty good start to this game. Fakes the handoff, fakes another, rolling to his right, and shovels it away, and it is completed, I believe. No, incomplete. And a rule that he didn't quite hold on. It was a little bit of a late call as hard direct. You see the toss. Does he get to this one?
No, that ball's
not
on
quite.
The floor.
Not quite. He had his hand under it initially, but I think the ground helped him to catch it, basically.
Yep. That was a nice effort. I mean, you cannot fault the effort, but just the ball hit the floor, and that's gonna result in an incomplete.
Lentz will kick here for Columbia Heights, now going into the wind. Low end over end kick, and really no chance to field that. That's the one benefit to you get a kick that's into the wind. It's not going to go as far, but it also makes it difficult, if not impossible, for the guy to come up and field that ball. So
yeah, I think as a kicking team, you'd much rather have the ball not fielded and returned.
Yeah, even if it means you're giving up some distance.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a receiving team, one of the things you really want your guys to do is catch the ball, and don't give up the bouncy yards and all that kind of stuff, because we saw last night, one of the first punts of the game, the return man didn't field it, and the ball bounced another 20-22 yards after from the place where he could have caught it.
The only thing worse, though, than not fielding it is attempting to field it and fumbling it.
There you go.
So, from the 37, Breck gets the football back here after a nice drive the last time they had it. Roddy throwing complete to Olness over the middle. He is ridden down there by Poindexter. Not an enormous gain, but a nice drive starter there, up about 7.
Yep. Anything over 4 on your first down is considered a really nice play. That puts you in a situation where you can more or less dictate to the defense where the ball is going to go. and you got a little bit of an advantage.
Roddy chased out of there, shrugs off a tackle, now fires on the run and incomplete. And a flag coming down. He tried to go to carry on Marshall, and Columbia Heights, it happened right in front of their bench, and they are not agreeing with what appears to be a pass interference call.
No, it's close. He had his arm wrapped around.
He did put that left arm around his waist a little bit. I initially thought that it was not a foul, but it was awfully close.
Yeah, it was awfully close, and
it's going to be called.
Does show that he had his arm around him, but boy, that ball was whistled. I don't know that Marshall could have caught it, even if there hadn't been any interference. If that ball was coming at a pretty good rate of speed.
Hearing plenty of grumbling from Columbia Heights, and like I said, initially I thought the same thing, but I think you could see at least the reasoning for that call.
Exactly, yeah. Once you see an arm draped around somebody's back, waist, or shoulders, you're almost always going to get that call against you.
Roddy throwing, and he's able to connect with Gill. Gill wrapped up there by Roberson for the Highlanders. About a 4-yard pickup or so. Interesting, so many teams, talking about going at a high tempo. Breck seems to like it a little more deliberate. I think Roddy, he's just kind of a calm guy, and he's okay with taking a little bit of time and really getting things set and surveying the defense a little bit.
Yeah, they're not as hectic as some teams.
Out complete to Olness, and just tripped up there. He will have enough for the first down inside the 30 to about the 26 or 27.
And this is a really nicely executed little bubble screen to the middle receiver of the trips. And the inside and outside receivers, they just go downfield and block. The middle receiver just steps back, so he's behind the line of scrimmage. The blocking is legal downfield. Catch the ball and run.
So first down, they'll spot it on the Columbia Heights 27-yard line. Third catch of the night for Olness. Swings it out for Turner, and he dropped it and close to being a lateral, but it is ruled an incomplete pass. I think the Highlanders had that one smelled out pretty well here. Turner might be glad he didn't catch it. He had a lot of guys zeroing in on him there.
Yeah, he might have gotten tattooed pretty good by a couple of guys there. That was well played by the Highlanders.
Make it a 2nd down and 10 now for Breck. Roddy fakes the handoff, fires complete over the middle. McKenna with the catch, and he will be down near the 5-yard line. And first down, goal to goal coming up here for Breck. Roddy really getting into a nice groove right now.
Yes, he's really finding his receivers. Receivers are now doing a good job of catching the ball and running with it. One of the things that Heights defense has got to look at is that their pressure off the flank, you've got to match up inside shoulder of the defender to the outside shoulder of the quarterback. You can't come across his face, and he's just going to step around you, and that's how Roddy is buying time.
Didn't get quite as much forward progress as I thought there. He's at the 8-yard line, first down and goal now. Roddy chased out of there, rolling to the right, throws it up into the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Carry on Marshall. There were a couple receivers in the vicinity, and at the back of the end zone, Marshall able to haul it in, and Breck goes in front.
Yeah, he makes a nice catch, but again, you can see the defender comes inside of Roddy. That's a nice catch in traffic. You had your own guy there, Olness was right there, and a couple of defenders right there. Marshall does a nice job of making a grab.
So we'll see Breck is going to attempt the kick again as Alex Tashenko comes on. He didn't get it the first time, and sometimes teams in that spot will almost automatically go for 2 to try and make it up, but they are not. They're going to go ahead and kick. Yeah, it's a fake. Rolling to the right, and that one tossed up for grabs and batted away as they tried to find Roddy with the pass there as Gill rolling out to the right. So the pass attempt fails, and it is 12-7 Breck. I think this one was a fake all the way, wasn't it?
That wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
But that pass will go down in the record books as being
well, I think he's thinking
helium balloon.
He's looking at Roddy as the basketball player. He's just going to go up and get it automatically. Ooh, they might have gotten away with a little bit of a hold here. There was a jersey tug on that first rusher. McKenna probably lucky not to have been flagged right there.
Yep.
And Breck will get the touchdown out of it as Roddy throwing that pass. I wasn't really too sure that was to Marshall. It ended up with 2 receivers almost in exactly the same spot, but maybe not exactly how you drew it up, but it works the same.
As long as your guy comes down with it, that's all that matters.
So the Mustangs surge into the lead here at 12-7 after it kind of felt like Columbia Heights, controlled the early part of the ball game. They had a nice drive going, and they got the football away from Breck pretty early on. But now the Mustangs come back to take the lead, and now it'll be Columbia Heights' turn to see if they can answer. Pachinko will kick off here for Breck. And this one's going to bound away and get all the way to the end zone for a touchback. And again, a ball that if you can't field it in the air, it can be trouble the way that football bounces around. And Amir Davis kind of went back after it. But at that point, you're hoping it does get to the end zone if you're Heights, though. You don't want it to just come to a sleep on the 2-yard line.
2-yard line. Then you got to pick it up with your back to the coverage team, and that is a little uncomfortable.
I bet you that's the first thing you do. That's the first thing you lose. The opportunity to lose, you're going to lose that.
So from the 20, Columbia Heights with Severson, the sophomore quarterback. Goes up the middle to Triplett. Triplett keeps his legs driving, and then finally forward progress stopped after about a 6-yard pickup.
Pretty nice first down play, gain of 6. Triplett right over the left guard position, and that's really what they like to do. If you got a guy that's rushed for 12 or 1,400 yards, you got to get the ball in his hands. You got to let him get into a rhythm. You got to let him get into the feel of the game, and that's a good start for Heights on that.
And it really sets up your other stuff too. You're going to go back to Triplett on the ground, and a solid tackle there for Breck as Ryan Stafford got to him early on there, and Triplett able to fall forward for a couple, but Stafford kind of able to get through there basically unblocked and make the stop. So 3rd and 3 now for Columbia Heights. I think important for them to, at least get one first down, or at least, get a little bit of the drive going here.
They've got to get some field position back as well.
Hand off here and squirting forward, and it looks like it will be enough for the first down there, is Dylan Lentz.
Yep. Lentz got just enough. This is a little bit of a counter. Lentz does a good job of, after his feet get taken out, lunging forward. He gets that last yard that puts it over the line to gain. So,
well, in an offense like theirs too, a lot of times the wingbacks maybe are going to not get a ton of chances,
No.
but you got to be ready to make something happen when you do. And that was a big first down for Lentz and the Heights offense. Rolling out to his left, good protection, and juggled. He held it, but was he in bounds? It looks like yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice catch there by Roberson. I had no doubt that he came down with the ball, but whether he was still in bounds or not was the question, and he was. See, juggles it. It's on his fingertip. Knee is in. Yes.
Carries it all the way to the ground. Nice.
That's a heck of a catch.
Nice grab. That's excellent. That's just the way when you're a coach, you say that's just the way I taught him to catch that ball.
So the drive continues with that first down here for Columbia Heights. Severson rolling out to his right, firing again, and this time incomplete over there near the sideline.
That's the same play that they ran to the left side, to the right side on 1st and 10. Here we see Roberson's catch again, which is really, really nice. Concentration on the ball all the way. Keeps his hands underneath it as he goes to the floor. Nicely done.
Really not too bad a defense either.
No,
the ball had to be put where it was, or it wasn't going to be complete.
Yeah, it was pretty well defended. I think that was Gill over there. We know that Gill will go after the ball. So
2nd down and 10 here for Columbia Heights. Handoff going to Triplett, and that one's going nowhere as he is stacked up. Oh, right side of that Breck defensive unit getting there. I think Hopping probably was first to really get a good piece of him. And
Hopping and Roddy both.
Going to be a short loss on the play.
3rd and long now. This is obviously this is the kind of situation that you don't want to have, but because you're pretty well forced into passing the ball. Heights hasn't shown any inclination to throw a screen type of pass, although their alignment can be set up to run a pretty good screen.
Severson rolling, now stepping into the throw, and incomplete, just a little bit too far out front. Maybe rush that one just a little bit as Hardrick was breaking open.
I think even if it had been caught, it still would not have been a first down, or it would have been a 4th and relatively short, 2 or 3 yards. But
so Lentz getting into punt formation here for Columbia Heights. He had that great catch and a couple first downs there, but not able to sustain the drive, so they'll have to punt it away here to Breck, it looks like. Lentz gets the kick away. It's a high knuckler into the wind, and it again takes a good bounce for Columbia Heights. And they will down it on the 26-yard line. Out of 33-yard punt, and again, no return.
No return. So the field position shifts a little bit. Ball's inside the 30-yard line now, so it's, like I said, Jay, it's about the 26. Heights defense really has to step up here and make a couple of plays. I think what they need to do is they need to get good pressure on Roddy and make him throw the ball too early or run it into a crowd. But you've got to do that by containing him. They have not contained him yet.
Fakes the throw early now under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. That time they're able to get to him and bring him to the turf. Nice job there by Triplett in there defensively.
Big loss. And I love it when the defense hears what I was talking about and then executes it. Now that was really well played. You see the difference between him being able to get out and run or throw the ball when he's out on the flank and being contained. It was a great example of just what I was talking about of containing him. If you keep him contained, you're going to have those kinds of results.
So Triplett getting it done on the defensive side of the ball as well here. 2nd down and 17 now for Breck. Roddy throwing. Marshall was wide open, and the pass is behind him. That one, I think it seemed to be a blown coverage a little bit. That could have easily been a touchdown.
Exactly.
But didn't put it where it needed to be. I don't know if Marshall adjusted his route maybe based on the fact that he was breaking into the clear. And Roddy would like to have this one back, because this one could have very easily been a touchdown.
Yeah, and that wasn't an uncatchable ball. It was a little bit high, but it was not an uncatchable ball. But boy, that's a wide open. Like you said, you like to have that one back, because that's a wide open receiver. That's one.
Columbia Heights, I'm sure their D coach is kind of breathing a sigh of relief there, because they had a mishap in the secondary, and Marshall and Roddy not able to connect though. So a timeout taken here is big play coming up, 3rd down and long. A little under 5 minutes to go here in this first half. Good ball game so far. 12-7.
Absolutely.
Breck leading after Columbia Heights had scored first.
Yeah, both teams have had some very good plays. Both teams have had some not so good plays, and both teams have had some critical penalties. So obviously it's evened up a little bit, and teams need to settle down. They're at the point in the game now where they need to settle down and decide, hey, we're going to play this thing, and we're going to be physical. We're going to play it hard, and then get after it.
See if Breck at this point, with as far as they have to go on this 3rd down, whether they'll go a little bit safer and looking for a little catch and run, or if you trust Roddy to throw the ball deeper down the field.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're going to go deep, you got to go deep enough to obviously get the 1st down. If you go short, you got to go short with a play that's going to have a chance to break, which means some kind of a screen. Could be a quick screen. I don't like traditional screen type plays on 3rd and very long, just because the defense has too many yards to react on it.
Roddy being chased out. He's able to get away. Throws it deep downfield for Gill, and he's got it. They've got an angle on him, though. Gill is going to be tripped up inside the 20-yard line, but how's that for a gainer for the Mustangs? Wow.
That's a big emotional play. Gill broke through 2 receivers, makes a nice catch on the ball, makes a nice grab on the ball. But once again, see how Roddy is able to get out to his right and not be contained by the defender. If the defender contains him, he's not going to get a chance to throw that. Even as it was, he was harassed pretty good, but he gets the ball out in pretty good order. And Gill does a nice job. He watched that ball all the way, and he read the label on that one.
Well, a 69-yard pickup. He was run down by Rogetsky, but Breck getting out of trouble. Was Roddy able to heave it deep downfield? They have it 1st down at the Highlanders' 12-yard line. What a turn of events and turn of field here.
Exactly.
Pitch back goes to Turner. Turner, a little unsure where he wanted to go there, and not much going to happen as he was dancing in and out there.
And there wasn't
maybe
a whole lot
a yard pickup.
There wasn't a whole lot to get there either. So we have 2nd and 9.
Pressure coming. Roddy rolls to the right and not quite able to get away as he was tripped up and sacked for a big loss. As able to get a piece of him there, enough to get him eventually down, was Catch Ogle there. And you'll see right there. And that's
Just
the thing. Obviously, Roddy's got a great ability to scramble and make plays happen. We see the pluses and minuses. He's taken 2 big sacks on this drive, but then stayed alive and completed that 69-yarder too.
Exactly. And again, the times that they have contained him, when the Heights defense has contained him, they've gotten sacks. That was pretty lucky right there because he just tripped him up, but he still wasn't quite contained.
3rd and 16. Roddy in trouble again. Now throwing it up for grabs. Tipped around and caught.
Oh, my goodness.
Marshall catches the deflected ball. And Breck, fortune smiling on him right there as he kind of put it into the middle of everyone. It was tipped up in the air, and Marshall stays with it and makes the grab for the touchdown.
Well, that was a good example of good concentration. You can see that Roddy's going to horse the ball out, but 2 defenders tip the ball and it bounces off of Marshall's helmet before he catches it. Now he stayed with that. He stayed with that play all the way, which was excellent. Nice score. But I would say luck smiled upon the Mustangs on that one.
Marshall's got 2 touchdowns in a row now.
And both on pretty nice catches.
They are not going to try to kick it this time here, as first 2 failed. Or the second one, I guess, was more of a fake, it looked like. Roddy now throwing and hopping, unable to come up with it. Defender was right there and may have gotten a piece of it, hopping, trying to do what Marshall did and get a juggling catch there, but didn't quite happen here. Not a bad ball thrown there, but just pretty well defended.
Yeah, well defended. Yeah, Robertson does a nice job of defending this as well. Maybe he gets a hand on the ball, but you can see Roddy under pressure does throw the ball and gets it reasonably well to where he wants it to go, but boy, a ball touched by a couple of defenders and bounced off the receiver's helmet and then caught for a touchdown. That's the coach will say that's the way he drew it up, but we all know that was a lucky play. But it still counts for 6.
Well, and sometimes,
luck or not.
Well, and that's true. And sometimes, I mean, let's face it, you have to, on occasion, kind of take a measured gamble to try and put that ball up there and give your guy a chance.
Give your guy a chance. If he takes a sack, he has no chance. So, and we've seen the strength that Roddy has of being able to throw the ball while he's being bounced around is pretty good.
Schenkel will kick off here for Breck. Returnable ball here, and Columbia Heights trying to get something going. And out near the 40-yard line goes Joel Croma.
Croma does a nice job there getting the ball out to the 40 to feel pretty good field position.
Yeah, that was one of the few tonight that's been, at a nice height and a nice place, to be received by either team.
Right.
So the Highlanders, 2:39 to go, and they've got a timeout remaining. Yeah, they certainly have time. I mean, you're going to have to watch the clock, but still all options available, especially because of the good field position on that kick return. Severson rolling, wanted to throw it back the other way. A flag is down. I don't think this is going to count. It's going to turn into a nice run,
yes,
but
it is. It's going to be
that flag, and Triplett's going to go all the way, but it is coming back.
There's going to be a hold in the backfield right before the launch of the ball. This is an emotional play that's, Columbia Heights is going to have to bounce back from this. Oh my goodness, it was and you can see the kind of athletic talent that Triplett has. He turns that screen pass into a pretty nice run. It's going to get called back. I think I put that play back in my in my reserve place, and in a similar type situation, I wouldn't be afraid to call that again. But because the hold occurred in the backfield, that 10 yards gets tacked on from the spot of the foul, which makes it that much more painful.
So a triplet disappointed over there that what he thought was a long touchdown reception instead is a penalty. The only thing about it is the flag, came out well before he even passed the ball. So you kind of had the feeling already that it wasn't going to count for the folks who saw it right away. Severson looking to throw. Fires and it's intercepted. And this one might be a touchdown. McKenna down the sideline. No, he's pushed out of bounds at about the 3 or 4 yard line as he threw into traffic, and McKenna able to make the interception there for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Coach Adams told me before the game that McKenna has really improved his play this year. And we can see right there, he steps in front of the receiver, reads the quarterback's eyes and hands very nicely, steps in front of the receiver and gets the ball back into excellent field position for Breck. Very good opportunity for the Mustangs to get another score here before halftime.
Boy, exactly what Columbia Heights didn't want. I mean, obviously they were hoping to drive the ball down the field, but failing that, at least use up the rest of the clock. And
that's a 14-point turnaround there, potentially, and you got a chance to have that be an 18-14 or 18-13 game, and now you're looking at could be a 26 to.
Roddy throwing to the corner of the end zone and incomplete. So 2nd and goal now from the 5 yard line here for Breck. And here is where, if you're Breck, you really want to be greedy. I mean, they really, really want to capitalize. They need to capitalize after getting that turnover.
And we talked about it last night, how important that getting that third score is. And they've gotten 3 scores, but they're not 3 scores ahead quite yet. So.
Roddy looking to throw now, rolls to the right, fires. Oh, and that one was nearly intercepted. The defender read it better than the offensive player, Roberson.
Roberson did a nice job.
He got down low and got his hands on it, but it was thrown very hard and very low. Couldn't quite make a catch.
Well, if he catches that, he's going to go down because he was getting ready to roll on it anyway. But boy, that he had nothing but grass in front of him too. There was if he catches it, and can keep his feet, there's nobody going to catch him.
So 3rd down and goal. Roddy getting away with a little bit of a mistake there. I don't know. He thought Gill was going to sit down and he could find him short, and Gill instead tried to go beyond the defender. They were lucky that one wasn't an interception. Roddy will step up and run for it. Roddy bouncing through a tackler, and it's a touchdown. Roddy using that big body to fight his way in for the Mustangs, and they're able to convert after the interception.
And one official called, 2 officials called it a touchdown. Somebody's saying it's.
Oh, wait a minute.
They're saying it's down on the 1.
Ooh. Official
that makes it a 4th
overruling.
down.
Another look.
Well, yeah, he was on the body of the other player. He's on the body of the defender, which means that was a touchdown.
Yeah, there was clear signal by an official touchdown,
and
but
the linesman on this side called it a touchdown, and ooh. So the bouncing ball off of the helmet gets called for a touchdown, and now the touchdown. Karma is a bad deal, huh? You can see as Roddy gets in here, right there at the 2, he makes a really good hit, and he's on the body of the defender as he rolls into the end zone. I think that's a fortuitous call for the Highlanders, as it were.
And you see the officials close to it didn't make any signal, but there was clearly the official on the goal line to our near side here definitely raised his hands.
Yep.
However, it will
now be fourth
and goal
from the 1. So the Highlanders live to play another play.
Got a big guy like Roddy. Do you just go quarterback sneak here?
I would not be opposed to that.
Here we go, 4th and goal. It is Roddy, and he will stretch the ball over, it appears, for the touchdown.
Nobody's called it yet. Again, it's the second or third time now.
Touchdown it is, but I agree with you, Bill. Make a call, please. There's no excuse for not making a call here.
Yeah, there's nothing. You see his feet are over the feet and are over the inline, so, or the goal line. So, yeah, that was obvious. And that's not good mechanics. As soon as that ball goes over the goal line, it's got to be you got to put your hands up. I don't blame Matt Townsend for being a little bit miffed at that. He said, "How, if it's a touchdown, it's a touchdown. If it's not, then." Don't make a no touchdown sign when it's a touchdown. I don't blame you for being a little bit miffed at that.
So the Mustangs will go for 2 here, 24-7 lead. Roddy throwing and dropped. Marshall had it in his hands but could not pull it in. He had a much tougher one that he caught for a touchdown a moment ago, but unable to bring this one in.
You take a good look here. You see from the goal line.
Yeah, Roddy.
You can see that his feet, his body, the ball.
2 yards in.
And I don't understand the mechanics of the official not calling it. Especially when the play before it was called.
Almost like they got a little gun shy that maybe he's going to overrule me if I call a touchdown. I don't know.
You don't know.
But anyway.
1:17 to go in the half. It's not a total wipeout for the Highlanders, but they've got to gather themselves and put the offense together. They've done a good job with moving the ball here a couple of times. They've just kind of shot themselves in the foot.
So Schinkel will kick it away here for Breck. 1:17 remaining. Columbia Heights got a good kick return last time out to about the 40, but then ended up turning the ball over, and Breck able to punch it in. They will see if they can get something going again here, and a nice return up the middle. Here comes Roberson. Roberson down the sideline, and he is just tripped up. Turner catches him at about the 20.
Boy, that was a nice reach by Turner because Roberson was on the way. That was excellent. He makes a nice turn to the left there, comes back, hits the seam, and then gets out on the flank and looks like he's going to be able to go for it. That's a nice tackle. That's a nice open field tackle on a guy that's broken free.
Well, I thought he was gone. I really didn't think they were going to catch him.
Yeah, it was that Turner really ran that thing down a long ways.
Timeout taken here by Breck, so we'll see if that's the shot on the arm the Highlanders needed right there. And getting that excellent return. They didn't quite get it all the way in, but they've still got an opportunity here to really get back in the ball game if they can punch it across here late in this second quarter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, next week we'll be over at Park Center High School as the Richfield Spartans, who are playing their first game tonight, take on the Pirates, who kind of took it on the chin against Cooper last night. Cooper's got a good football team.
Yeah, again this year they have a good team, and Park Center kind of, like you said, they took it on the chin last night.
It was a strange game. I was at that game for the first half, and 0-0 after one, 33-0 after two. All 33 points in the second quarter by the Hawks. So we'll see if at Park Center, kind of had a nice bounce back in these last few 4 or 5 years. Now last year, not the case. They won one game. They did not play well, and I think it's kind of a feeling of that they really want to want to get off to obviously against Cooper they didn't have a great start, but they want to build something a little bit early in the season so you don't get to that point where you're just everybody getting down and feeling beaten.
And then a couple years ago they had a pretty good rivalry with Cooper.
Yes, they beat Cooper a couple times in the same season.
When Cooper had a very good team too.
Yeah. Severson and the Heights offense out here as he rolls to the left. Throwing, and that one is going to end up short of the mark there as he tried to find Hardrick.
That was one of the ones where the coach would say, young man, Aaron, run the ball down there and hand it to him. You got a whole lot of green between you and him. Instead of throwing it in the dirt, let's run it down there and see what happens. And if he, in that kind of situation, if he runs the ball, he puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense because they have to at some point come off of the coverage to make the play on him. May not be great on that play, but the next time he does it, there's a question in that defender's mind, and he owns that defender the rest of the day.
And a penalty on Columbia Heights here, I believe, an illegal substitution or 12 men in the huddle.
Oh, not good.
Looking like baseball.
This is where some poise and composure are going to be important for Heights here. They've got about a minute to go to get the ball in the end zone. They'll get the ball back at the start of the second half.
Handing it off here and trying to work hard and get free was Chroma, but there were just too many guys in white jerseys there.
Yeah, they're not, they didn't bite on the fake two triplet, so two guys waiting in the hole there for the running back.
So Chroma maybe a half yard if that on the play, and bring up a 3rd and long here for Heights. So after that great kick return, it's not gone the way that they had hoped, but still time or still an opportunity anyway.
We're in 4-down zone. If you get 7 or 8 yards on this play, you give yourself a 4th and 7 or 8, and you got a chance to keep the ball going. You really just have to execute. This is the type of play where the players have to understand that they have to play the way they've been taught to play and trust the rest of their teammates and not try to do something that they're not capable of doing. The linemen need to block people, and the backs and receivers need to go where they're supposed to go and make the thing happen. Realize there's 11 guys trying to stop you from doing that.
Third and long here. Severson rolling out. Rush coming. He got by the first man. Now shovels it, but incomplete. So he tried to really just kind of push that ball forward to Chroma.
And just enough pressure that he couldn't get the ball out to Chroma to make the play.
Well, you got to figure they're going to go for it here. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Fourth and 15 coming up here for Columbia Heights, but with the score where it's at, the field position where it's at, really no decision to make here.
No, 46 seconds to go.
Give your receiver a chance, throw the ball, and see if you can't convert. And then obviously we're going to have a flag down, delay of game against Columbia Heights.
Didn't they just come out of a timeout?
46 seconds left.
Yeah.
And he is going to throw, and it is incomplete as receiver Roberson slowing there. And Weren't quite on the same page as where that ball was going to be.
He did not run the route. He did not run the route. That one we put 100% on the receiver for not being involved in the route. I'm looking at the body language of some of the Heights players there. They're walking back to the line of scrimmage. Granted, this is a disappointment to get the ball in that kind of field position and not punch it in. But this is by no means a discouraging sort of thing.
Looks like Breck is going to take a knee here. 41 seconds to go, and got a nice lead, and they don't want to do anything that could change that. So
nope.
Roddy will drop to a knee, and they'll have to do it once more and head in after a pretty good first half of football here, especially second quarter for Breck.
Yeah, second quarter for Breck was outstanding. Made big plays. They got lucky a couple times. Made a nice interception to force the situation, get a score off of that.
So a 24-7 lead for the Mustangs after they outscore Columbia Heights 18-0 in that second quarter, getting 3 touchdowns out of it. A couple of passes from Roddy to Marshall, and then Roddy that 1-yard sneak, reaching the ball over and getting the touchdown call. So pretty good start for Columbia Heights, but right now finding it a little bit tough. So yeah, let's go down to the sideline to Allie.
Thanks, guys. Coach, a frustrating first half for you. I saw most of that frustration for you come on the defensive end of the ball. What were you seeing?
We're just not making plays right now. We're in position. We're giving up tip balls. We're not finishing the quarterback. He's making plays. We just got to make plays on our end. I think we're in position. We're just not finishing right now, so that's our issue. Offensively,
you guys are having great drives. You're just not converting for points. How do you turn that around in the second?
We just got to continue to execute. We're building on some young kids that are learning right now too, so we'll continue to develop. We got to start playing our football and start eliminating mistakes. So.
Still early in the season, Coach.
It sure is.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Coach Townsend. We'll hear from Coach Martin a little bit later on here. 24-7, Breck, our halftime score. We'll be back here with more from Columbia Heights High School in just a moment on CCX Sports.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
24-7, Breck leading Columbia Heights at halftime. Hero the season opener for both teams here in the Twin City Red District football on CCX Sports. Well, a year ago, we at CCX put one of the all-time greats in Breck football history into our Station Hall of Fame. Quarterback by the name of Liam O'Hagan, and let's take a look at that story now from 2016.
He is one of the finest athletes ever to come out of his high school and a younger brother to a current Hall of Fame member. We welcome 2004 Breck School graduate Liam O'Hagan into the Hall of Fame. David O'Hagan, a three-sport star at Breck, was part of our Hall class in 2012. David played a big part in Liam's introduction into sports.
We grew up out in Medina, Minnesota, and we actually had our own kind of pasture that we formed into a baseball field. I think we saw a Field of Dreams at a young age, and we went out there and designed our own diamond. But I remember, the summer days out there, we'd spend 4 or 5 hours either working on the field or hitting balls. Sometimes only stopping because we've lost all the baseballs into the cornfield out there.
From the cornfields to the fields of play at Breck, the O'Hagans played 1 year varsity baseball together. David was a senior, Liam an 8th grader. Lenny Sedlock was the Mustangs head coach back then.
When he was an 8th grader, he could not play like JV ball. That was against the policy at the time. So it was either varsity or nothing. And I think it was kind of a big deal at the time. But what I do remember is Liam just stood out.
And he lines this one to left field. That'll be in for a base hit, and it's going to scoot past Smith. O'Hagan digging for second.
I think we were just having so much fun being on the same team, riding the buses together, warming up, and playing on the same diamond together that sometimes I think we lost track of staying concentrated on winning and losing. But I think it was certainly one of the most memorable experiences in my athletic career.
But Liam quickly grew out of David's shadow. He played 4 years of varsity football, first as a defensive end and running back, and then a 2-year starter at quarterback for the Mustangs, while continuing to see a lot of snaps on defense.
He allowed us to run defenses that, with him sitting back there with TJ, those two back there at safeties, you just always felt you were covered. And he would fly around, just athletically gifted and very driven with great leadership. He didn't let kids around him slouch. It was time to go when Liam was ready to go.
Head coach John Thiel was blessed with a lot of football talent in those days. Liam O'Hagan was certainly at the top of the list.
O'Hagan throwing to the end zone. Robinson wide open, touchdown.
A 2-time All-State player, O'Hagan helped direct the Mustangs to the Class 2A championship in the fall of 2003.
I'd say that I'm grateful to have played with so many excellent friends and teammates. And of course the coaches, John Thiel stand out, and Brett Burgundy on the defensive side. Tremendous players, teammates, and coaches.
Liam was just as strong in baseball. A 5-year All-Conference and 2-time All-State player, the 2004 Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year was part of 2 state runner-up teams at Breck.
Liam could have played. Liam could have went on. I mean, first of all, his bat was unbelievable at times. I mean, he's gonna get on base at least every other time up to the plate. He threw the heck out of the ball. He could play anywhere. I mean, he could play. I could put him in any position and he could play it.
But Liam had his heart set on football. He had several offers and chose Harvard.
It was an incredibly easy decision for me. I just had to make sure I got my grades high enough that last semester to get in.
O'Hagan was an all-Ivy League quarterback for the Crimson as a sophomore. But a serious shoulder injury early in his junior year more or less ended his collegiate career. Nonetheless, he learned some great lessons at Harvard.
Some of the games we played, we weren't always the best athletes, or we'd play scholarship teams and stuff like that. But we were always the toughest team, and I think for that reason we were always in the game. And I continue to take that with me every day of my life.
After taking a year off from the sport, Liam played 2 years in the United Football League, sort of a minor league of pro ball. His coach for the California Redwoods was the late Dennis Green.
He held everybody to this professional standard, and for that I think everyone respected him very much, because he was never going to get in your face or yell at you. He just expected you to be in shape when the season started. He was expecting you to be prepared for every practice and every game.
Liam saw his real future, though, was in business, and armed with a degree in finance from Harvard, he set out for Asia, where he's worked and lived since, now employed by a venture capital firm called Quan Capital.
Living in Shanghai certainly is a interesting experience. Every day is a new adventure. The people I work with at the firm are very, very interesting people from all over the world and all over China. So certainly it's a rewarding experience.
His coaches at Breck called the early 2000s a golden era for athletics at the school. Liam O'Hagan was right in the middle of it all.
How lucky can you get to play with that kind of talent, especially at a small school like Breck?
I get asked a lot of times who was the best athlete you ever saw come out of Breck, and it's tough. Liam was pretty special. When people ask me, he's usually the first one that I speak about.
Great career for Liam O'Hagan, and we invite you this weekend here on Labor Day weekend to watch our 2017 Hall of Fame show. Lots of chances to see it over the weekend and also online at ccxmedia.org. We've got 3 new inductees, and we think you'll like it. Some great athletes going in this year. 24-7 Breck, our lead at halftime here at Columbia Heights. We will have first half highlights and stats, and then hear from Coach Martin as well here coming up in just a moment.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back here to Dick Orchard Field at Columbia Heights High School, and the Mustangs of Breck leading 24-7 over the Highlanders. We'll take a look at some first half highlights in this contest here. And Columbia Heights getting some things going early. The young quarterback Severson throwing a juggle and a catch by Roberson puts them in position, and Triplett, their workhorse from last year, a strong physical run from 13 yards out, gave them a 7-6 lead. They chase Roddy and just gets rid of that one, able to complete it to Gill. That was a big first down there. Roddy showing his strength as a quarterback, and then he throws over the middle, and Olness making the catch. Lyndon Olness for the touchdown. Got Breck on the board. They missed the conversion. It was 7-6. They come back to Olness, getting a nice gainer, starting another drive for Breck. Roddy shaking off a tackler, throws on the run into a lot of traffic there, and Kerryon Marshall comes down with that one early in the second quarter. There's Breck surging the lead. Then a big play here. This one goes for 69 yards. Gill hauling it in. He is caught and brought down, but it helps to set up this one. A kind of a lucky bounce, no doubt. Tipped by the defender off his helmet, and Marshall sticks with it for the catch. His second touchdown of the quarter. They were not done yet. The interception by McKenna, and he brings it back down inside the Heights 5-yard line. Ended up having to be a 4th and goal, and Roddy, this one was initially called a touchdown, then waved off, and then he gets the touchdown on this one. And they scored with only 1:17 to go, so a 24-7 halftime lead. And there you see the first half stats. Mustangs not rushing much, but throwing for 198 yards. And they have outgained the Highlanders by quite a bit. Both teams have been hurt by penalties. Let's go down now in the end zone to Allie with Coach Martin.
Coach, a decent first half for you guys, seeing a lot of offensive production there. What did you like that you saw out of your offense that continued to pull you through into the second?
Well, I think David Roddy is taking a lot of it on his own. We're having a hard time with protection, and we're just fortunate to have a gifted athlete such as that to be able to move around and make some plays. So we got to shore up our offensive line, and hopefully we can do that, and the second half will be even better.
How do you think he's been handling that pressure? Because it looks like they're coming with blitz after blitz, just trying to take him down.
Yeah, obviously he's human. He's frustrated, but we've really believed in the family model, and he's encouraging the guys in front of him. He knows what he's got in front of him. They're working their best, or doing their best, working their hardest, and I think he's handling it very maturely.
You guys going to keep going for 2 each time?
No, we'll try to get back at it. I think we're not comfortable, but we're far enough ahead where we need to get that shirt up too and get some confidence in our kicking game and get the snaps down, and we'll be all right.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks, Coach Martin, as his team, I think he was, right on the money, saying at times we haven't protected that well, but Roddy made it look a little bit easy. The first guy to come after him is generally not getting him. They have had a couple of big sacks, no doubt.
Exactly.
But he's an elusive guy, a tough guy to bring down. And obviously, the longer a play develops, too, you're going to have some breakdowns in the secondary at times, and he's got a strong enough arm to take advantage of that.
And we've seen he can get the ball downfield even when he's being harassed and tackled and bounced around. And the challenge there for the Columbia Heights defense is to keep him contained and get your flank support on his outside shoulder so that he can't continue to roll out and buy time.
So a 24-7 halftime lead. Breck stayed out on the field here at halftime. The Highlanders went into the school. So we'll take another time out here as they'll come back out and get a little time to warm up. It is a 17-point lead for Breck. We'll see if the Highlanders can regroup here in half two and push forward and make a game of this one here as we continue our season opener for these two teams on CCX Sports.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And welcome back here to Columbia Heights as we get set to begin quarter number 3, and Breck leading it by a score of 24-7. Be interesting to see, just how the beginning of this third quarter goes. Obviously, a lot of time left, and Breck showed in the second quarter that things can kind of happen in a hurry, and Columbia Heights has to, they have to have the belief that it could happen the other way in a hurry too.
Exactly. I mean, there's just as much game to play as they've already played, and football's a funny game. It can change. Things can change in a heartbeat with one play. We saw those kinds of emotional plays in the first half. A couple of them went Breck's way, and they capitalized on it. And the Heights players have to realize that if we do what we're coached to do and we execute, we can get the job done here. There's no reason why we can't score 3 or 4 more touchdowns. We proved right at the beginning of the game we can move the ball and score. We've got to take care of ourselves first, not worry about the other guys.
Boy, and all the big plays that occurred in that first half, Bill, I look back to that saving tackle on the kickoff return as being the last big play that really, how different would this game feel now if it was 24-14 and Heights had just scored going into half like it looked like they might. You have to give credit to the hustle of Derek Turner to make that stop for Breck.
Exactly. I mean, that's the kind of hustle, that's the kind of play that you need to have to win a game.
See, Roddy is accounted for 4 touchdowns, one of them running and 3 passing, and that's going to be the case all year. He's obviously their best player and obviously one of the best players, in this class of football, and could make the case maybe around the Twin Cities or the whole state.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to be a player that has to be accounted for. You cannot let him dictate what's going on, and so far in the second quarter particularly he was able to do that.
Chinko booting it on the ground. Mackenzie Burnett on the return here for Columbia Heights. Doesn't get a lot on the return, but they will get pretty good field position after the short kick. They are out over the 40, or just over the 40 it looks like. So Highlanders, I thought, definitely a good start to the game for Severson. It didn't go quite as well later in the half, particularly the one interception he'd like to have back, obviously. But for a sophomore getting his first chance, I thought he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, he seems to be doing a pretty good job leading the team. They seem to be responding to what he's doing. But I think they need to get down and knuckle down and do what they do well. And I think that's run the ball, get the ball to Triplett, and let him make plays.
And Severson trips over one of his teammates and will go down for a loss. See if he,
his offensive lineman tripped him.
So about a 3-yard loss for Heights, and Severson maybe a little bit banged up as well.
That's smart. Shin bone to shin bone hurts. That's a frustrating start. Boy, so you don't even get the play started and you're on the ground, the whistle's blown.
Second and long here now for the Highlanders. He goes with a little toss out to Triplett. Triplett making a cut, but well defended. Breck able to get there and kind of hem him in, and I think it was Olness who was hanging on around the leg there.
Yep.
Got back the loss on the first down play, looks like maybe about 3rd and 10. Severson under some pressure, steps up but is hit and taken down for the sack. And the Highlanders will be forced to punt on their first possession here of this second half, is getting to him for the Mustangs.
Now watch what happens here. See where 61 is? 61 is on the outside shoulder of Severson. And as soon as he establishes that that's where the flank is, Severson has to come inside of him. As soon as he comes inside, the play is over because the linebacker or the lineman coming down the line of scrimmage is making the play. And again, it's a big loss simply because the type of containment that the defensive player made. That was a great play by the defender.
Yep, Cole Helgas getting the sack, but Ryan Stafford getting upfield in good position to help make it happen there, and that's kind of team defense for you right there. One guy gets the sack, but
the
other one helped him out. So a nice punt there by Lentz. Breck will get the football for the first time. They have to feel good about the way their defense, played for much of the first half, and then coming out with a good stop to begin half number 2.
Yeah, the defense has done a very nice job, and they're, the Heights defense now has got to step up. They've got to get, ideally they'd get a 3 and out, but they've really got to figure out how to contain David Roddy and make him less effective both throwing and running the football.
From the 22 of Breck, first down. Roddy, a straight drop back, look out. Gets that ball away and a battle for it. Let's see, who's got it?
It's going to be
the official taking a long look in.
Simultaneous catch is going to go to the receiver.
Yep, it's going to be a catch for Breck as Ethan Gill able to at least get half of the football here, and that goes to the offense. Boy, I thought Roddy was about to get drilled there.
Yeah.
And you see both guys catching it.
That's a great effort by both players. I'm really impressed with the Columbia Heights player who makes a great effort there, but a simultaneous catch is going to go to the receiver every time. That's by rule, so there's no thought process on that. But boy, that was a great effort by all 3 players, and the defender who had Roddy's legs wrapped up.
Handoff going to Hopping, and he will pick up a short gain of a couple there.
I think if I'm Breck, I might be thinking about where my running game is going to be here.
Yeah, that part of it hasn't gone particularly well for Breck this evening.
No.
But yeah, that previous play it initially was looking like it was going to be a catch, but then it looked like just for a moment that Rogatsky might have wrestled it away from him enough to get the call. But here's Roddy rolling out to his right, throwing, and almost picked off, then almost caught.
Yeah, well played again by the defender. That's Kenny Moore doing a nice job back there. It's funny, watching Roddy, he doesn't look to have great speed, but he seems to have, he runs just fast enough that the guys can't catch him clean. When he needs to run faster, he seems to be faster.
3rd and 9, and even that throw was really right on target.
Yeah.
Moore did a nice job to get his hand out. The throw was basically perfect. And we've got a jump. It looks like it's going to go.
Encroachment. Nope, they called.
Breck drew him off. Mustangs really were hurt by penalties early. They've been able to calm that part of it down a little bit more. And that helped them to build that lead.
Exactly.
So we'll make it 3rd and about 14 now for Breck. Roddy being chased again, wrapped up, and he's not going to escape. Staying with him for the Highlanders was Noah Servio. Able to wrap him up and did a better job of what you said of not over pursuing, not getting outside of where he needs to be.
Right. And not crossing Roddy's face. You can see he keeps outside leverage. As soon as Roddy tries to run outside of him, he's got an arm free to wrap up, and that's a huge play. That's really well defended right there. And you can see when you get a big sack like that, it makes a difference.
Roddy is the punter as well. Heights not necessarily trusting that he's for sure going to kick it. He does. And he drills it deep, and they're going to have to field it inside the 10. And not much blocking there, obviously, with the way it developed. And Rogatsky will return that ball. So great punt by Roddy. Yeah. He can do a little bit of everything, looks like, huh?
Yeah. You know, and that was kind of a knuckleball, and really made it tough on the return man to figure out what he was going to do. They let it bounce. It didn't, obviously wasn't going to make it in the end zone. They did a good job of covering it and getting something back. And Roddy had pretty good distance on that as well.
So Heights will start from their 12-yard line here. And before this one can get underway, procedure call against Heights. And again, at times it's looked like a first game for both teams, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody wiggling up there on the offensive line. That's going to get called every time. As if everybody's still and somebody wiggles, that is so painfully obvious when you're standing looking down the line of scrimmage.
Make it a 1st and 15. They have to be thinking about, you know, getting yarded, but also protecting the ball on this spot now too. You don't want to.
Yeah, you got to get, you know, take care of field position as well.
Handoff going on the sweep to Chroma. Trying to battle through a tackle, but Olness able to come up and get him. Gill wasn't able to get him to the ground, but he got enough of him to allow Olness to wrap him up.
Yeah, and
Roberson, I'm sorry, not Chroma. Roberson on the.
Roberson just wasn't able to get out. They didn't get a blocker out there. He was all by himself. It's a little tough to BYOB. That's be your own blocker when you're out there with the football.
Now you're hoping to catch the defense a little flat-footed on that sweep and get them going before they are able to get any pursuit in that direction, but it didn't quite happen. 2nd and 13 now for Columbia Heights. Severson back under center this time. Hands off to Triplett, a nice gap to run through, and Triplett wrestling upfield there as Turner got up high on him, and Triplett will pick up the first down out over the 30. Boy, just what the doctor ordered right there for Columbia Heights. Get a little breathing room.
14, you think, you know, your body defenders are thinking a little bit of pass, and you bang your big tailback in there, and he's obviously hungry. He wants to get some yardage, and that was very well executed and well run by Triplett. Nicely blocked by the offensive line.
So they get it out to the 33 now, 1st down and 10. Gonna go back to the ground to Triplett, and another nice gap, and able to get out over the 40-yard line there. Not enough for the first down, but he'll pick up what looks like about an 8 or so on that first down carry.
And I think if I can do that, I might wear them out with Triplett a little bit here. You know, make those linebackers step in, make those outside flank guys slide down the line of scrimmage to squeeze that inside hole off. That'll open up your outside running game a little bit, and it'll make your passing game a little bit more effective. But I'd make him stop Triplett a few times here.
Looking to throw, and incomplete as he tried to go up top. Roberson was cut off really there by Marshall on the throw sails over the top.
Right, it looked like the quarterback threw the fade or the go route, and the receiver ran the inside. It was a little bit of a, looked to me, a little bit of a lack of communication on the route there. But that's a good second and short play. You want to, if you can get a big one on 2nd and short, you do it. You can come back on 3rd down now and get the first down. Again, I'd wear them out with Triplett. That 2nd down, they had a blitz by the linebacker, and
they are going to go back to Triplett, and a big gap up the middle. Zachary trying to hang on. He's into Breck territory. And about the 47, so give them 13 more, and I think you're right. You know, you wear a team down a little bit too by coming at them hard and you know, getting them back on their heels, accepting blocks instead of them rushing upfield on you.
Exactly.
You kind of get the feeling right now that even though they haven't been on the field that much, the Breck defense seems to be wearing out just a little bit on this drive.
Exactly, and you know, and there was a nice trap block by the right guard on that play. You know, they're getting some good execution here.
Severson rolling left, throws, and it is complete. And it will be another first down as he's able to hook up there with Rogatsky, I believe. No, make that Hardrick.
Yeah, Quentin Hardrick makes a nice catch. But again, the inside running game has really opened up that outside look there. Hardrick does a nice job of running with the ball after he catches it, gets another first down. So now the drive that started inside the 15-yard line.
Severson is down on the field.
Yeah, he came off holding his side. I don't know if he took a shot right when he let go of the ball or not.
He did get hit. A defender came in and hit him, and I kind of half expected there was a possibility of a flag there.
Yeah.
And it might have been just that he got him in a bad spot too. It looked like possibly like, you know, right below where you have padding.
Yeah. And most of the quarterbacks wear those rib pads. You can see that, you know, Roddy has big rib
jumbo
pads.
Jumbo-sized rib pad, yeah.
Get around that torso, yeah. But yeah, Severson looked like he took a shot right in the gut, right in the solar plexus. Maybe knocked the wind out of him a little bit. Hopefully whatever player comes in to be the number 2 quarterback can hand the ball off to Triplett effectively. Because he's going to have to come out for at least one play here.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Severson will come right back in or...
You know, and Severson is all of 5'8" and 140 pounds. He's about the size of one of David Roddy's legs.
Eduardo Placencia coming in, a sophomore. So first down at the Breck 35, a real crucial drive here for Heights. Down by 17. This is a drive they kind of probably must score on, I would think, to have a good chance anyway. And they do hand off to Triplett, no surprise there. And Hopping able to make this tackle along with Olness. Short gainer of a couple.
I'm surprised. They're going to put Severson right back in now. He sat out his play. His ribs are okay, and he's back in there.
You may be right about the wind. I think I saw that. I kind of watched as he threw the pass. A defender came in. Not a really hard shot, but he kind of got him with the shoulder pad in the somewhere in the torso anyway. And Severson rolling out, throws on the run, and is able to connect with Hardrick. Hardrick makes a nice move and then ridden down just outside the 10-yard line, and it'll be another first down for Columbia Heights as they get a good march going. Real nice cut when he caught that ball.
Absolutely. And he found the seam. He wove his way through the secondary pretty nicely.
Spotted on the 11-yard line now. First down and 10 for Columbia Heights. A nice drive here for the Highlanders. They try to get back in it here, down 24-7. Triplett straight up the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown. Columbia Heights gets its second score of the night. And Breck's defense looked a little worn down on that drive, and the Highlanders make them pay, and Triplett finishes it.
That's a nice emotional drive to get a 88-yard drive for a touchdown and have 2 or 3 big plays, a couple of good running plays by Triplett, 2 or 3 nice passes completed by Severson.
You know, Breck's had a lot of adventures on their extra points. Severson is the kicker. He is 1 for 1 on his PATs. Good snap and hold. Ooh, a good rush coming though, and it is no good. Wide left. Not sure if Breck maybe got a piece of that ball. They were awful close if they didn't.
Yeah.
And do we have a flag down, though? It looks like we might perhaps have a flag on the play.
I did not see one go, but.
And that is a procedure call against Columbia Heights, which is waved off, so the kick is no good. Another look, watch the outside rush coming here. They lunge for it, and oh yeah, definitely got a piece of that ball.
Yep.
That's Zachary. Boy, talk about great hustle.
Yeah. Those hustle plays are the ones that end up winning games for you.
Another look, give some credit to this O-line here. They're opening holes. This one wasn't really much triplet. It was more O-line.
Yeah, I think running behind Big Manny Alvarez and a couple of those other guys really helped them out on that drive, and certainly Triplett took advantage of the holes that he got. He had what, 2 or 3 runs over 10 yards in that sequence.
So Columbia Heights did what they needed to do, march it down the field and score. They got time here, down 11, 3:22 to go in the third quarter. And now the kind of like a returning serve to Breck, and now it's their turn to have to show what they can do offensively. Gonna go with a short kick, and these can be tricky.
Yep.
And Breck does the right thing, just diving on the football there as it was bouncing around. I think it was Gavin Hopping. No, actually Olness who dives on that football. And so the Mustangs will have pretty good field position, but I think not a bad, chance to take if you're Columbia Heights there.
Yeah,
it's not a pure onside kick, but you make it difficult on the receiving team.
It's like you said, if you don't have a guy that can kick it into the end zone every play, and most high school teams don't, if you can kick it to the spot on the field where the return team isn't, you really force their hand. And if you got a couple of guys that run pretty well, you can get down and put some pressure on people. If you kick it and one of your guys lands on it, well, that's even better.
From the 28, they toss it out to Turner. Cutting it back. Flag is down on the play, and Turner is down too. This flag was in the backfield. We might have a holding call against Breck, I believe.
There's also one on the line of scrimmage. Might be a procedure penalty. Usually when the referee throws a flag in the backfield, it's going to be a hold. And he's talking to the Heights players. If it's in the backfield, it's usually a hold. If it's on the line of scrimmage, it's usually a procedure and encroachment.
They are going to accept this, I would believe, here. You were right, there were multiple calls. They decline that one and accept the holding penalty.
Yeah, you take the 10-yarder and leave the 5-yarder on the field. That 10-yarder is going to be actually from behind the line of scrimmage, only a yard or so, but that makes it a little bit more painful.
Yeah, you get to the point too where you talk things over with your linemen or even sometimes receivers blocking, where you say the risk of getting called for holding far outweighs if you didn't make a clean block. You maybe get just a small piece of the guy. Roddy escaping the rush again, throwing on the run, and Gill dropped it. He's ridden down hard. It was slightly behind him, but looked like a catch ball, especially after some of the great catches he's had tonight. But that time, Gill not able to haul it in.
He just wasn't able to bring it in, and again, Roddy's able to escape here. And again, if the contain is there, and I realize he's a hard guy to contain, but if the contain is there, the play is made. If they get a sack at this part of the field, it makes it, oh man, then they've got field position that they can work with.
Roddy firing over the middle and incomplete, looking for Gill. Defended by Chroma once again there for Columbia Heights. So now Breck forced into a third and very long.
And again, this is where you've got to play all the way through the play, because Roddy can extend and extend and extend, and we know he can throw the ball a long ways when he's being harassed. And his guys have proven that they can catch it. They've had a couple of drops on this sequence, but they've proven that they can catch the ball.
And
okay,
Roddy tying the shoe quick there, it looked like. So 3rd and long. I think it was about 3rd and 22 or so. Roddy dropping to throw. Steps up, throwing, and incomplete. The receiver, Gill, kind of stopped as a defender fell in front of him, and it just really took his concentration away.
We got another flag in the backfield. Must be, it's probably a hold again.
Oh, a chop block, I believe.
A chop block, maybe. Oh,
yeah.
It is a chop block. I don't know if I would take it at this point. That's a big penalty, but you know, you take the penalty, you're pushing them way back towards their goal line. But if you don't take the penalty, it's 4th down. I think the odds where you take the 4th down, make them punt it.
I agree. It's so long to go for them. They're in terrible field position already anyway, so it is declined.
But the receiver looked. Yeah, I think Jay, you're right. He took his eye off the football, and saw the defender and slowed down, and that's why the ball was overthrown. You know, we always told the receivers, hey, you're going to get hit anyway. You might as well catch the ball before you get hit.
Rogotsky and Davis waiting deep. Uh-oh, Roddy in trouble. Shrugs off a tackler, throwing downfield, and it's dropped. Boy, they would have had the 1st down. Marshall had that one right in his hands and unable to hold on. He only had to get another yard or 2 if he had caught this.
He was all by himself.
Oh boy!
He should have bounced it off his helmet, I guess.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, look at what happened earlier. They had a fortunate catch, and then sometimes those things even out, like you said at halftime.
Yeah, karma's a bad deal. But now, Heights, good defensive sequence after a score. Ball in excellent field position. Well, they're at the 15, 16-yard line. They've got a chance to bring the score down into 3 or 4 points here.
Severson under center here for Columbia Heights. Boy, they have rallied here in this 3rd quarter. Triplett takes the handoff. Olness and Helges wrap him up. And pickup of a couple on the play for Columbia Heights.
Yep. And again, I'd go to my money guy pretty regularly. Go to your horse running back. Make those inside linebackers step up hard. Make those defensive ends pinch down. And as soon as they start pinching in and close off that inside running game, you're going to have the flank open.
Rolling to the left. Severson's going to tuck it up, and he is brought down. He'll get about back to the line, it looks like, and probably no more than that. Obviously, he got banged up a little bit earlier. He's not a very big guy, so I don't think they really want him, taking too many hits, but.
Exactly.
Bring up a 3rd and long here for Heights. Big sequence for both teams here. Obviously, for Columbia Heights scores, they're very much, right back in, right on Breck's heels. If Breck is able to hold, well, then they still in decent position head into the 4th.
It's a little bit of an emotional advantage for Breck. But again,
toss it out to Triplett, running the sweep to the right. And Triplett dragged down. He will not have enough for the 1st down. It looks like an injury maybe for Breck as well, as Isaac Luton made it in on the stop, and then he's shaken up.
Yeah, he took a little bit of a shot to his shoulder there. He's going to come out for a play. A little bit of what we would call a stinger.
Looks like they'll be about 2, maybe 3 yards short of the 1st down here.
I think you're in a good position here. If you have a really outstanding fake to Triplett on 4th and short, you suck a lot of people in, and you can get a play out onto the flank.
Here we go. Big fourth down play for Columbia Heights. They'll go back to Triplett. He is met, trying to drive the legs forward, but I don't think he got there. Well, we'll see. Yeah, he might have.
The mark from the linesman on the far side of the field is going to be very close.
He really kept the legs driving with a good second effort there, as he was met pretty early on by Jack Schauer and company. I thought at first he wasn't going to get it, but it kind of depended on where, which way he, or how much he fell forward.
Exactly. It's going to be really close on this measurement, I think.
Oh boy, looks like he is short though.
By about 2 inches.
Breck will take over on downs, just outside their 5-yard line. Wow, big stop there.
Yeah, now Heights has to say, fine, you stopped us, but we've got the field position advantage. This is where I really would go after Breck right now and get my contain guys, keep leverage. Don't let them get away. We had a couple of lucky breaks on that last series, but we were in good shape. Just go after it.
Mustangs hold, but now in a kind of a precarious spot inside their own 10-yard line here. Roddy, oh boy, almost sacked right at the goal line. Instead, he gets rid of it and gets the completion up the sideline. Roddy was pretty nonchalant there, considering where he was on the field. He just kind of held him off. And I guess that's how it's been tonight for him, as he's so big and strong. But watch this, he almost gets sacked right here.
And the defender didn't stay with it. He thought he had it made, and he didn't stay with the play. And the defense let the running back out of the backfield, and the first down results.
So from the 18th.
Just gotta stay with the play. This is what we said. Stay with the play. Stay with it.
Roddy throwing deep down the middle, and it's complete. And Gill trying to get away, couldn't quite do it. Is hanging on for dear life. There was Amir Davis, but a nice gainer there of 30 yards for Roddy and Gill.
Well, when he gets a chance to set his feet and throw the ball, he puts it right on the money. Gill makes a nice catch. And another big play. So both teams now have been able to drive the ball from deep in their own zone. Columbia Heights got the touchdown, and
I don't think Breck is going to snap the ball again here before this third quarter ends. So they are going to carry a lead into the fourth quarter, but still an interesting one. Heights coming back, getting the only points of that third quarter. And we will head to quarter number 4. Our score is Breck 24, Columbia Heights 13. Stay with us. The fourth quarter up next.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Get the feeling the big plays are not done yet. Breck was pinned back deep after a defensive stop, and they bring it on out, getting a 30-yard completion from Roddy to Gill shortly after Roddy was nearly sacked right at the goal line. So I guess that's kind of been the story of the night. You know, and sometimes you talk about it, and you have to confess, it's easier said than done getting that guy on the ground.
Yeah,
no matter how well they've come, at times taken them maybe not exactly the right angle, but just trying to tackle him has not been an easy chore.
No, not at all.
Handoff up the middle. Breck's running game has been pretty non-existent here tonight.
Exactly, and I talked to Coach Martin. I said, everybody you play is going to be trying to take the ball out of Roddy's hands. How do you handle what's your plan? And he said basically we have to have other people step up from time to time.
Fakes the handoff, and that pass is dropped. And then a little pushing and shoving. Oh, we got a flag.
No.
Peter Mesna not able to haul it in, and then guys went at each other, and it looks like it might be on the defense here. And that's a tough one. You get a unsportsmanlike conduct against Columbia Heights. That one hurts. You see the pass is dropped right here.
Yeah, both guys are involved in that, but the second shove from 46 gets the flag.
I don't know. To me, I might go both.
Yeah.
Both or neither.
Yeah, I'm not sure that warranted anything.
Roddy looking, throws over the middle. Olness has the catch. Not going to be enough for the first down, but he picks up about 7 or 8. The one difference, though, I guess, in looking back at that one, Bill, is the second push was really shoving the face mask hard.
And he was intentional, but
the Breck receiver was holding on, pulling his jersey, is what what led to it too.
But it's like they say, it's the second one that always gets seen.
Yeah.
The first one never gets seen.
Roddy fakes. Now rolling and running, and Roddy down the sideline, finally ridden out of bounds. Boy, there was a huge collision in the backfield as Zachary threw a block. We get a flag down, though, on a holding call. A little ways down the field, right around this area after he had started to run. You see the flag coming in.
But again, you see that his speed is very deceptive. He runs fast enough so people can't catch him. And that's a good example right there. The closer people got to him, the faster he ran.
If there is good news for Breck, though, it's that this hold came, a little ways down the field, so it doesn't push him back quite as far as it would if it had occurred in the backfield.
Right.
But they go back to the 40.
So it's still going to be 10 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
By the end of the night, we could see both teams pushing close to 100 yards of penalties, the way it looks here.
The way it looks, yes.
Yeah, 2nd and long, 2nd and 11 they'll put up on the board here as the Mustangs' Roddy surveying the scene and incomplete. Looking for Mesna there, who had that drop a moment ago.
And as many times as we've talked about Columbia Heights putting pressure on Roddy tonight, that time his offensive line did a really nice job of giving him the time to throw the ball. Just didn't get it hooked up.
So 3rd down and long here for the Mustangs, leading at 24-13. And Highlanders into the neutral zone there. I don't believe they were drawn. Yeah, it is going to be against Columbia Heights.
Yeah, that was an encroachment all the way.
Still not enough for the first down, but it obviously makes things a little bit more possible if you're Breck.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 is much better than 3rd and 10.
I was over at practice the other day, right near Roddy when he was barking out signals, and I could see him drawing somebody off. He has quite a voice when he wants to. Roddy looking down the right sideline for Gill. It's well defended and intercepted. Amir Davis really cut the route off nicely. Even if he had just knocked it down, it would have been a good play, but he comes up even better with the interception.
He makes the interception, but the field position is not delightful.
No, but I'm okay with it at this point.
And that's as well played as a defensive back can make that play. But it's going to be first and 10. They gave him a pretty good spot. I thought he was inside the 5 when he went down. So, yeah, you take the ball there just because you haven't given up anything else, and you know, a lot of field in front of you. But you know, Triplett's still in the backfield.
So big stop for Columbia Heights via the interception. Severson giving to Triplett, has to make a move right away, and he'll fall forward out over the 10. Give him 4 or 5 on that play.
But once again, first down, you're looking to get 3.4 yards or more. And if you get anything you get over 3.4 is a plus.
Looks like more like 3 on that carry. Didn't get quite as far as I
Yeah, it looked like he got a little bit further than that. But still, from that part of the field, that's a good punch out right there.
Handoff here going to Chroma, and Breck reads it well.
Yeah, they were all over that. That counter has not been real successful. The slow read by the backside linebackers have really stifled that counter play that the Highlanders run.
It's a little over 9 minutes to go, and you know, obviously you're not like in a hurry-up situation yet or anything, but they can't necessarily count on getting the ball much more than, you know, a couple times left in the game.
Yeah,
so
they're going to need to, you know, get field position. Obviously, they need to get 2 scores to get back on top of this thing, and there's another movement.
Two guys flinching there on that one, so that will hurt as they go back 5. A lot of FaceTime from my friend Chad tonight. Making penalty calls.
Yeah. Interesting to see how many, not so much how many yards, but how many different procedure penalties have these two teams had today. It's been uncomfortable, that's for sure.
Severson rolling to the right in the end zone, throws in incomplete. Unable to hang on was Roberson there. And even though you hate to give the ball away here, you basically have to punt.
Absolutely. You know, with 8.5 minutes to go, and you're 4th and 10. Yeah, you've got to definitely. And unfortunately, neither team kicks the ball really well.
Lentz is the punter. Zachary waiting deep. Lentz standing about halfway back in the end zone. A little bit of a low snap, but he has time to get it away and gets away a pretty decent kick. Oops, but it takes a bad bounce for the Highlanders and down
at the
out at about the 31-yard line. So it'll be about a 25-yard punt. And that one looked more impressive than some of the others initially. It just didn't bounce the right way.
Yeah, if it had bounced Columbia Heights' way, it would have been a really nice kick.
Now, with the score and where they're at, if you're Breck, this is a situation where you might like to, you know, really put the ball on the ground and take some time, but they just have not run the ball effectively at all tonight.
And this is where you really need to have an effective running game, because if you can take off 3-4 minutes and get 1 or 2, you don't even have to score, but if you get 1 or 2 first downs and you run a few minutes off the clock, your opponent's not going to get the ball back enough times to make a difference.
Here's Hopping taking the handoff, and this time they do get a little bit of a gap. And he will have the first down, it appears, down to around the 20.
He got about 11.
10 or 11 there. Really first good run for anyone other than Roddy, the quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was well executed. Nice run. Well blocked by the offensive line, and Gavin Hopping getting up in the seam in good order.
So first down and 10 from the Columbia Heights 20. They're almost going to need to make a play, a turnover to still have a chance in this one.
Especially as the clock continues to wind down, they're going to have to make something happen.
Roddy will hand it off to Zachary. Cuts past tackler. Ooh. Zachary getting a little bit of a block, and he is going to go for the touchdown. Well, we just talked about how they hadn't run the ball much at all to speak of tonight, and then they come up with a couple of nice runs in a row, and Zachary able to get it in for the 20-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and he makes a nice jump cut just before he gets tackled. We watch right here. He gets right there. He makes a nice jump cut to his left and gets downfield. Very, very good order. That's really a nice move that he makes right there. That jump cut has become really popular over the last several years, and people are actually teaching that move to a lot of their running backs.
High snap here, and Gill rolling to his right and throws incomplete. So the conversion fails again, but here's another look at Zachary with that cut.
Zachary using all of his speed to get around the edge and into the end zone. Now that, without sounding like a little bit of a downer, that might be the death knell for Columbia Heights tonight.
So a 30-13 lead now for Breck.
And Breck is perfect on extra points tonight.
Perfectly missing them, right?
Yes, they have not scored a single point on the extra point tonight. Two teams combined are 1 for 7.
Columbia Heights will be at Harding next week. And for Breck, they have their home opener when they take on the South Tigers, Minneapolis South, next Friday. Schenkel kicking off. Cutting up the middle there and finally brought down as Roberson. Boy, just for a moment there, you had Heights, getting that score, and then looking like they might again, and the game, Breck just kind of flipped the momentum back.
Yep, and that was a big flip because it came at the right time of the game for Breck. And Heights just kind of lost the emotional edge that they had developed with that long touchdown drive and then the good defensive sequence.
Severson throwing back, connecting here with Triplett, and he has a couple blockers out front. Down the sideline, Triplett trying to sidestep a tackler there and is brought down around the 41-yard line. That's about a 30-yard gainer there.
That's the second time that screen pass to Triplett has been very successful. The first time touchdown was called back on holding. And the offensive linemen do a great job on that. They just run and keep their feet until they have somebody to bump into and let Triplett find the running lane. That was really well executed. I like that a lot.
Severson throwing it up, and it is caught inside the 20. Nice grab by Hardrick as he reacted to that ball just a little better than the defender. It was basically a jump ball.
Was that McKenna that was with him? No, it's
Marshall.
Marshall, yeah. And we know Marshall can catch the ball, so that's a well-placed ball and a really nice fight for the ball by the receiver.
Go back to Triplett, broke a tackle, pounds through another. And that's what you start to see guys, not wrapping up as much when they're tired a little bit too. And that's Triplett trying to take advantage. Heights just hoping it's not too little too late if they punch this one in.
Yeah, they really got to. You got to take it first things first. You got to get the ball into the end zone first, then worry about everything else second.
Triplett gets the handoff again. This time met immediately there and unable to escape from Luton.
Hold. Wow, they called another hold.
Oh.
Right. But some days if you don't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all, huh? That flag came in really late. Flag came in after the play was all virtually over.
And if you're Heights, you're thinking, well, and we must not have held very well because you got tackled immediately anyway. But
so we repeat second down. It's 2nd and 16. 6 minutes, 20 seconds remaining.
Severson fakes the handoff, rolling out to his left. Now throwing up for grabs, and the catch is made for the touchdown. Breck wanted a push off as Roberson might have gotten away with one there, but it'll count for the touchdown.
That really wasn't a push. He was just letting the defender know where he was.
See it right there, just kind of getting that arm extended a little bit on Zachary, but
again, Heights does a good job of handling the adversity of giving up that last score and coming back and getting another score. I'd say, at this point in the season, you're always looking for what are the positives that we can build on, and they've really done a lot of really good things tonight. They just need to really settle in and figure out what kind of a team they're going to be, and go from there.
They will go for 2 here to try to pull within 10. Severson wasn't ready for the snap, and that's going to be a extra point that fails to convert as he was not ready. The snap looked like it was on target, and he wasn't looking. And so the extra point try no good. You see it comes into his knee there.
Right, yeah.
And at that point, not much good was going to happen anyway. So 30-19, it stays with exactly 6 minutes to go, halfway through the 4th quarter. So the Highlanders battling back, at least making it isn't over. That's for sure.
They've hung in with it all night long, and they just need to do it. I mean, the game's certainly not over. I've been in many games where we've been down by 2 or 3 scores with a lot less time we have on now, and come back and won. So
let's see what the Highlanders have ahead. A couple of St. Paul schools and then Roosevelt. Well, we got to believe onside kick could be a possibility here, or at least one of those little squibs.
But you've got 9 guys that are within 10 yards. If you kick it out past the hash mark at about the 30-yard line, you got as good a chance of getting it as those guys do.
And that's what they're going to do.
There.
And it takes a nice bounce. It's overrun. Oh, boy, the Highlanders had a great opportunity at getting that one, and they just couldn't squeeze it. And Xavier Williams covers it for Breck.
That's exactly what you said, Jay. You know, get the ball where they ain't, make it bounce.
Just overrun there by Ogle there.
Yeah. But that was well executed, and you know there was nothing wrong with that except they didn't cover it. But that was the perfect kind of kick. An onside kick probably would have failed. But that kick had a great time, and you don't give up as bad a field position.
There's what Breck has coming up south next week, Concordia Academy, and then a very good Minneapolis North team, of course, coming up on the 22nd. So from the 34, Breck fortunate to have the ball after they nearly got that one. Here's Roddy throwing for Gill and incomplete, unable to hang on. Well thrown ball. I think Gill might have heard the footsteps a little bit there.
Possibly, but he's made that catch a couple of times tonight too, where he's been in that seam with two defenders around him. He just didn't get the grabbers on it very well.
So 2nd down and 10 here for Breck. Roddy to throw again. Rush coming. Flag is down. Completion to Zachary. Bounces off a hit. I think this one's going to be coming back.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty healthy penalty.
Yeah, holding call against Breck.
Boy, both teams have really, really hurt themselves with penalties tonight. So that's going to force a 2nd and quite long now. It's going to be 2nd and 20 or 22. And we've seen Breck bounce back with it. We saw a 3rd and 30 and they made the completion. So
that's one thing you don't worry about whether Roddy can get the ball downfield for you. I mean, as much as any high school quarterback around, he can make throws accurately. It isn't just a matter of can I throw it 40 yards, but I'm having to heave it up for grabs. He can put it on the line. Gonna go draw to Turner, gets by the first wave.
Good job.
Turner's not very big, but he has a little burst to him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And he really hit the seam well and accelerated at the right moment in time. And that was a well-executed draw play. Second and long is usually a pretty good drawdown.
Got about 12, so 3rd and 11 now for Breck. Going to protect a 30-19 lead. A little under 5 minutes to play here in the ball game.
But more importantly, there's more time running off the clock.
Roddy over the middle to Zachary. Runs backward though, and that'll cost him a couple yards, right? And I think a timeout's going to be quickly used by Columbia Heights. Yep, good call.
That was a pretty nice pass, but Zachary kind of went the wrong direction with it, trying to get around and upfield, and the Heights tackler made a good play to bring him down.
So it'll force a punting situation here.
You know, 4:35, 4.5 minutes to go. You know, again, you've got to focus on getting one score. You can't get two at once. You got to focus on one.
Here's a look at what we've got coming up for you in the week ahead as school resumes for most of the schools in the area. Right after Labor Day there, we got Armstrong, Catino, Grace, and boys and girls soccer, followed by Wayzata and Hopkins girls and boys. We said our football game next week will be over at Park Center, and then pretty good soccer doubleheader coming up on the 12th. Centennial, Maple Grove, both those games should be pretty darn good. Maple Grove girls really should be a strong team this year, and Centennial's the team that knocked them out last year in a heartbreaker in the section final. So looking forward to those games coming up, and hope you've enjoyed this one tonight in our first telecast, Osseo Maple Grove football. And it's a bad snap. Roddy will have to run it down. He scoops it up. He's looking down the field. He's just going to toss it up for grabs.
Don't
and batted away, incomplete, and there's a flag down on the play at midfield.
Lineman illegally downfield. Everybody was downfield, so you're going to have an illegal lineman downfield. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. Ineligible downfield, penalty declined, and Columbia Heights will take over on downs.
And good field position.
This is the second time Roddy's had to, when he was expecting to be the punter, have to turn back into the quarterback and throw it up for grabs. Boy, that one almost had a, he had a chance.
Even if it had been completed, it wouldn't have been completed because there was a penalty on the play. But still, but on a situation like that, Roddy's got to realize that instead of throwing it, just kick it. Because if it's an incomplete pass, the ball's coming back deep into your zone. But if you kick it, at least you're going to get some field position.
Heights will have it at the 39 of Breck. This one is not over yet by any means. 4:25 to go. They're down 11. Severson fakes the handoffs, wants that screen against batted in the air and intercepted. Picked off for Breck by, looks like Williams, who made the grab. Xavier Williams, who had that nice recovery on the kickoff. Pass was tipped, and Williams stuck with it after hopping had gotten a piece of it, and that was a big play right there.
Yeah, that was the screen pass that they've run a couple of times. Just a little too much pressure on Severson, and the screen pass was well defended. They had that one figured out. So
the twists and turns continue in this, huh?
It's a funny game, isn't it? Just when you think you got an emotional advantage, something happens to take it away. And that's happened to both teams tonight.
On the 35 of Columbia Heights, Breck will go to the ground with Zachary. Little cut back there and picks up about 4, it would appear.
Yeah.
Obviously, hanging onto the ball is first and foremost here. You got to make sure you ball security. Timeout taken by Columbia Heights. Well, looking at whether replay is going to be coming into the Prep Bowl as the final decision is coming up in October, expected to be, and that would be used in, just in the final parts of the playoffs.
Right.
For turnovers and scoring plays and plays in the last 2 minutes of the first half that affect the clock. So, be interesting to see.
Right.
I suspect that it has a decent chance of passing.
Well, and of course the U.S. Bank Stadium is perfectly well set up to handle video replays. So I don't know if it's been done much in high school football around the country. I've not seen it on any of the high school games I've watched so far.
2nd and 7. They'll go back to the ground. Hopping, fighting. He's dragged down and looks like short of the first down.
I don't know how many timeouts Columbia Heights has left, but they've used at least 2. So now you're 3rd and short. Probably going to run the ball again. That'll bring the ball clock down under 3 minutes.
Give Breck a little credit. Late in the game, they've come up with some big runs after really being stuffed all night long.
They really didn't do much until a couple of series ago when they got a couple of good runs. They've had a couple of good ones here.
Roddy fakes the handoff and escapes. Roddy being chased to the left. He's going to run this ball, and he will pick up the first down. He wants to stay in bounds, so he just barrels into a couple of tacklers.
Once again, he's proven that he's a big, strong guy that you have to bring down. You can't just grab a hold of him. You can't just bump him. You got to get him down.
Well, you talked about earlier too that your first thought is, well, he's so big, I need to go after his legs, but it's hard to get to his legs.
Exactly.
And not to mention, you may be paying the price if you go for the legs and don't get them in the right spot.
Exactly. And no matter what, you're going to take a thumping, but you're better off hitting him and holding on and hoping you get some help than anything else.
Hopping, goes to his knees after picking up about 4.
This is going to be tough now that they run 3 more plays. Run 3 more plays and the game is over. Clock is going to go out. I think Columbia Heights is out of timeout, so they can't stop the clock.
Hopping lost his helmet on that play, so he had to come out. I think he had a word for the official saying he had help losing his helmet there. Roddy trying to take as much time on that play clock as he can before snapping it. Gonna hand off to Turner. Turner breaking free and get a first down to about the 5. So we go under 2 minutes to go and a first down goal to go at the 5 here for Breck, trying to salt this one away here in this first game. And we're going to have Breck using a timeout. I think they were either didn't have enough players out or were convinced that they were going to not get the snap off in time. So
it doesn't matter. Run the clock out.
Well, been an interesting one, Bill. Entertaining,
yes.
A lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, and no doubt about that. But also you see, the plays that some of these guys have made, guys like Triplett and guys like obviously David Roddy has been fun to watch. Marshall,
exactly. Yeah.
Gill has had a huge night receiving for the Mustangs, and we've seen some good catches. And Roberson, I think, has played well for the Highlanders at times, certainly, and Hardrick, and I think
all along, both lines have had really good periods of time and really struggled. I think it's been an entertaining high school football game tonight. We've seen a lot of good things. Both teams have some very positive things to take away from it. Obviously, Breck, with the win, is going to be happy about it.
Hopping takes the pitch, and he will get in for the touchdown as he goes on the sweep left and goes in from 5 yards out, and Breck will salt it away here. Is Hopping able to come back in after losing his lid there and runs it home.
I think on the extra point, I'd just take a knee.
I was wondering if they might even just here. I mean, they could have run the clock out by that point, I think, but with as crazy a game as this has been, I guess you score when you have that chance to kind of put it out of reach.
You never deny a score. You just don't.
Oh my, a penalty on Breck. And this must have been an illegal substitution. Infraction here. They had too many guys in the huddle.
Both teams are finding that they definitely have some things to work on in terms of cleaning the game up a little bit.
We want to keep on working on this extra point kicking. And this one is going to be up and through, and Breck kind of celebrating a little bit as they get the extra point through for the first time tonight.
As they say, finally.
So a 37-19 score here. Hopping able to finish that run and get himself in the end zone there. One of the captains for Breck. 6'2", 220-pounder. Obviously a little contrast with their other backs. A couple of the other guys, Turner is slow, quick and small, and Hopping's a little bit more of a pounder.
Yeah, Turner is at, they say 5'10", 165 pounds. If he's 5'10", 165, he's...
Booted back to the 10-yard line here, and trying to squeeze through that gap was Roberson. Looked like a little room. If that one tackler didn't get him, he might have at least been able to get quite a bit more there. But
exactly.
So the Highlanders get the football back here.
You know what's funny about this game is that when you look at the score, you say that's a dominant win for Breck. 18 points. They controlled the game at halftime. But it's actually been a much closer contested game than that score would indicate. But certainly both teams have a ton of things to work on. Breck's running game is suspect, but they've done well with it at times. And Columbia Heights just has to get used to a younger quarterback.
Severson swings it out on the flat to Lentz, and he is met immediately. Nice job by John Steinbergs to get there. You know, I got to say, though, too, for Columbia Heights fans and players, you're not going to face a quarterback that's as hard to tackle every week as what they're seeing tonight. And, you know, and with all due respect, you know, Roddy is just a pretty special athlete. They're not going to face somebody like that every week. Pass is complete, and staying on his feet is Hardrick. Now cutting it back across the field, shakes off another tackle, making it entertaining, and he's going to step out of bounds at about the 35.
That was excellent.
38-yard gain there.
He ran 38 yards vertically on the field, and ran 160 yards, running all over the place.
I think he was running out of steam and realized he wasn't going to go all the way anyway there, so I thought I might as well pop out of bounds or get a timeout taken here.
Yeah, you don't want. Yeah, if you don't have a timeout, you don't want the clock to stop unless you have to, right? That would have been a fun play to see if he scored on, though.
A little bit of rain beginning to fall here as the teams. This has not been a rapidly played game.
No,
we're approaching 3 hours.
Yeah, we are, which is unusual in a high school game, and particularly considering how much the ball was run tonight. We had a lot of penalties, and that always takes. When we have a lot of penalties, it makes the game that much longer.
From the 35, Severson looking to his left, throwing it up, and Marshall with the interception for the Mustangs. Just got good depth on the drop there, and he was almost like the receiver running the route, and
he
got to it.
Yep. And Roberson didn't really accelerate to get downfield. And the ball was way inside.
Yeah, and the ball's got a little underthrown too.
Yeah, you got to, quarterbacks learn fairly quickly that, if you're going to miss with that, you got to miss high and wide, not short and inside. This will be the last snap of the game.
One can hope.
Unless somebody has a penalty.
Roddy into the, and the Mustangs into the victory formation, if you will, there. Yep. He will take a knee, and Breck will start the 2017 season with a road victory here, and it's a team that beat them 20-0 last year, so you're feeling good about this to secure the first win here. So So John Martin and crew, as we count it down, they will win it by a score of 37-19. So we said, Bill, some building blocks for both teams, some mistakes certainly for as well, but it'll be interesting to see how both do throughout the rest of the season here.
Exactly, and Breck certainly got to feel good about themselves, starting off with a nice win after the tough season they had last year. And Heights has got more positives than negatives to take away from this game, but the kids are going to feel down because they lost, and they've got to learn to see where, how the game was played and where they can play better, and the outcome will be different.
So that'll do it for tonight's telecast here from Columbia Heights High School. Thanks to the folks at Heights for having us here tonight at Dick Orchard Field. Our final score is Breck 37, Columbia Heights 19. For Bill Hunstock, Allie Arlton, all of our crew, MJ Wilcox, good night from Columbia Heights.